the people who listen to the zombies episode know that
Yeah.
I am a big fan of Milo Manheim.
Yeah.
Effortlessly charming, a wonderful performer, and that extends into this movie. And also
Yes,
the facial hair looks good on him.
it does.
You know what though? It's giving guy in your youth group you had a crush on.
Guilty. Guilty.
Happy holidays, Hannah.
Happy holidays, Cullen.
Or as we say, in this sacred place, we come to this place, say Merry Christmas.
Yep. Merry Christmas.
Christmas.
Put the Christ back in Christmas, and that's what we're doing today.
That's what we're doing. Welcome back to Not My Fantasy Podcast, where we talk about fantasy films and the lore behind them. Controversial today, but don't worry. We will be approaching this with nuance, and I'm going to be talking about that.
Yes.
I'm Cullen,
And I'm Hannah.
and today we're here with friend of the pod, Katie Little.
Hello.
Yes.
Thank you for
Yay.
joining us from your beautiful Christmas mantle.
Thank
Yeah.
you. I'm so happy. I thought you guys would never ask, but I didn't want to seem desperate.
Oh,
I told Hannah, I'm like, does she think I'm weird? I'm
No.
like commenting on everything.
I
No,
love
and
that you comment on our videos.
yes, that's what I said. I told her, I was like, Katie, you're not just like a fan. I was like, you're a friend of the pod. Like,
Yeah.
and we also did talk and maybe a little bit commiserate about how long we've known each other. Katie and I don't know if we ever described this on Glee Boot when we had you there, or I guess the Secret Lost episode.
Yes.
We
but
did have you on eventually.
Yes.
After the Secret
Yes.
Lost episode. Yeah.
Yes. Oh, that's right.
You
Yeah,
did.
yeah. Because I was like, I
Yeah.
thought we did. But Katie and I have known each other since we were 5 years old.
Mm-hmm.
And that's 26,
Crazy.
27 years.
Yep.
So
Yep.
definitely a friend of the pod, fan of the pod as well. And
Yeah.
we love that I love when you text me about the pod. You'll send me memes that are references to the pod. And it honestly is just, we talked about this personally, and I'm not going to cry, but it does, it warms my heart. Like, it really does.
Good.
Especially around this time of year, I'm feeling extra grateful for this podcast and the people who listen, especially when they are such good friends too. So
Oh, thank you. No, I genuinely enjoy it. I do, because you were like, oh, I hope she's not just listening. I'm like, trust me, I wouldn't listen to a 2-hour podcast unless I really enjoyed it.
that's a good point.
Yeah, true.
You're like, I like Hannah, but not that much. It's like, no, I like the podcast. It's good.
Yeah.
Well, I was saying to Hannah, I'm like, it's like, I was thinking to myself, like most podcasts, it's a parasocial relationship. With you, it's legitimately a social relationship.
Yeah. Yeah.
So,
Yeah, we're Judy Garland says in my favorite song that inspired A Girl to Punch a Snowman, faithful friends who are near to us, who are dear to us, travel near to us once more,
Mhm.
virtually.
Virtually, yeah.
Yeah, but they didn't have Zoom and meet me in St. Louis. So that girl had to be
No.
sad and punch a snowman. But we're not talking about that movie today.
no, we're talking about something totally different.
Totally different. We're talking about 2023's Journey to Bethlehem. And I'm coming from, not actually, but obviously, but I'm in Bethlehem. I'm at the Church of the Nativity, in my sweater and my gingerbread mug with hot chocolate.
Oh, you even have hot chocolate in it. Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Katie, what are you drinking? You got
I
hot
made a
chocolate?
London fog.
Oh,
It's like
good
Greg's
one.
new favorite drink, so that's
Love.
what I put my own twist on it. So,
Oh yeah, I love a London fog. I have my gym rat water bottle.
Oh, Jim Bro Hannah.
Yeah,
getting swole.
Look at actually, this is what my abs look like right now. For real,
Oh,
totally.
you look
Uh-huh.
like Antipater or what's his
Yeah,
name?
however you say it, antipasto.
Antipater.
Antipasto. I
Anti-dad is what that means in Latin.
That's what they named him.
Well,
I
like Potter is dad.
Yeah, but is that his real name in the movie?
Antipater? Yeah.
I thought it was pronounced Antipas or like Antipas, but I looked it up and I'm
I
like,
think
oh,
there's a real historical, the real one in real life might be Antipas.
Antipas. Okay.
Yeah.
I gotta watch the movie.
So this was all our first time seeing Journey to Bethlehem, correct?
Correct. Yeah,
And
never would have found this one without you, Colin.
You're
yeah,
welcome.
me either because I didn't even know it existed. And you had had your eyes on it for a little while,
It
right?
was TikTok trending when it came out.
Okay.
Like the
Well,
songs appeared on TikTok quite a bit. I think because people love Milo Manheim.
Mm.
listen, same.
Yeah.
This
Uh,
movie solidified just how, I mean, we'll get into it, but the people who listen to the zombies episode know that
yeah.
I am a big fan of Milo Manheim.
Yeah.
Effortlessly charming, a wonderful performer, and that extends into this movie.
Yeah.
And also
Yes,
the facial hair looks good on him.
it does.
You know what though? It's giving guy in your youth group you had a crush on.
Hey,
Yeah.
and you know what? Guilty. Guilty. The guy in my youth group is Milo Manheim, and I have a crush on him. There, I've said
Yeah.
it. Yeah.
I mean, growing up, Father Gomez used to just call all the girls Joseph, or all the girl, that'd be interesting. All the girls Mary and all the boys Joseph. Like instead of learning people's names, it's just like you're Joseph or Mary.
That's funny.
Yeah.
That's
Joseph or Mary.
wow.
Just
Yeah.
different iterations of Joseph.
Yeah, and with Catholic, a bunch of like mainly Irish Catholic girls in like Michigan, 90 like 50% of the time Mary's going to be the correct guess. So, uh
So fun.
but we know, this movie is a bit of a stretch to our theme or
Yes.
controversial. So when people call something a myth or mythology, I know we have like this preconceived notion that that means like false,
Mhm.
untrue, and the atheists of Reddit or Bill Maher, who's
Oh,
basically uh kind of the worst of both worlds, they can go off on that, but what we're taking it in like the academic sense in that a myth means like a religious tale, a tale that people tell to make sense of the world, to explain their beliefs. Um, and that's how this story, and we've touched many times on Christianity and its traditions because they connect with lore. Like we talked a lot about that in like some of our Robin Hood episodes and church performances. Um, it came out, we did episodes on Diablo. So I think like the
Yeah.
beliefs of Christianity and the stories and the mythology that build up around events in the Bible uh, play a big part of understanding like the history and lore and stories of humanity in the world. And because Christianity is a global religion, like you can't ignore that and be like, oh, that's not like on our radar. And it intersects with history and mythology and accuracy and not inaccuracy a lot. So at some point we're gonna have to talk about this story. Christianity does not exist in a vacuum either, and it's influenced by and influences other beliefs and other worldviews. So it's interconnected. So before you cancel us for starting the war on Christmas, I think actually the theme I want to posit this episode, the question is who is really waging a war on Christmas?
Mm.
ooh.
Who is? Antonio Banderas. No.
Look at him.
Look
Mad
at him.
already.
Yeah. Uh
I This is gonna be a complete tangent. Have either of you guys seen Star Trek 2?
no. Wait,
No.
which one? The
Wait,
one with
is
like
that
Chris
Wrath of
Pine?
Khan. No, the
the
older one.
original,
The
right?
Yeah.
original
Yes.
Star
Yeah.
Trek
We
2.
we watched it in grad school, I think.
Did you? Because
Yeah.
there was a
Cullen didn't clearly.
there was a like controversy that Ricardo Montalban, who played
Yeah.
the villain, that the like abs he had, the joke was that like that was like a fake like chest plate, and every single time Antonio Banderas came on screen in that, I'm like, It's Ricardo Montalban. It's Khan.
Yeah,
Sorry.
and also the guy, so yeah, that guy in who plays Khan
Mhm.
played his Antonio Banderas' dad in the Spy Kids franchise.
His father-in-law. He was the
Father-in-law.
father-in-law.
Oh, that's right,
Yeah.
that
Father-in-law.
father-in-law.
Yes, that's
You're right.
so funny. Spy
Yeah,
Kids just
Spy
working its
Yeah.
way
Kids
in.
love Spy Kids. Listen,
Yeah.
can't wait to. I gotta find a way to work that into the
Yeah.
podcast.
What
It's like
the
a
Spy Kids too with the quote, why does God stay up in heaven? Because he's afraid of what he created.
Okay, I'm
those
gonna
movies
start
were
working
intense.
on that. Yeah, I'm gonna figure out how to get that in here. I did time travel. I can work Spy Kids
Spy Kids, yeah.
Absolutely.
Uh,
Anyway, sorry, back to Christianity.
back to
in.
back to Christ. No,
As we record on the Sabbath, by the
on the
way.
Sabbath,
Yeah,
yes,
you're
on
right.
the 14th, yeah. And also Hanukkah. It's on a Happy
Yes.
Hanukkah.
Happy
Yes,
Hanukkah.
happy
Yeah.
Hanukkah.
Yeah.
We celebrate.
Um. So this
Eight crazy nights.
a crazy. Well, maybe that's a movie we'll visit someday.
Yeah, honestly.
Directed by this film is directed by Adam Anders, who did the music for Glee.
Yeah.
Uh,
Yeah.
and it is written by Adam and Peter Barashini, who is the writer of the High School Musical franchise.
Oh, that makes so much sense. Okay, speaking of Glee, really quick, a quick tangent. I was watching a commercial today on the TV, and guess who was there? Matt with spiders in his ears. I never learned that
Really?
actor's name,
Oh, the
but
guy, because he appeared was in one season and then gone.
and it was like, yeah, Matt had spiders in his ears, and I will never forget that. And I'm so sorry to that actor that I have not learned your name, but I did see you in the commercial. You were in like running through a car wash. I don't know what it was for, but it was weird. But I saw him and I went, "Oh my God, it's Matt with spider eggs in his ears."
That's why he's running through the car wash.
So yeah,
Yeah,
wash
he's
him
trying to
out.
flush him out. There you go.
Yeah. Uh,
After all these years.
after all these years, the music was by Adam and his wife Nikki Anders, who we got to know very well on the Glee project.
Yeah, we did.
And Peter Astrom, and the choreo is by Zach Woodley, who did the choreography for
Legacy of
Glee,
Glee.
and we
We got
also
to
got
know
to know
him
him on.
very well. Yeah.
Yeah, and I wanted to find any info on like who kind of like made this movie and like why these specific people were like we're doing the nativity story. And there wasn't much, and I was doing a lot of research on a lot of different things, so I couldn't really find anything. But usually like you go to Wikipedia and they do a quick little backstory, but nope. And so I'm like, why does this movie exist? Because it's not Angel Studios, which is the like Mormon slash evangelical thing that is producing. I think they produce The Chosen, and but they
Oh,
just
right.
produce a ton of like Christian conservative content, films, shows, um, like
Are they
non
the ones that do that? Was it the John the Baptist show
or there
on
maybe there's a new David movie
CBS?
coming out that's
Hmm.
them about King David.
See, I feel like you
Interesting.
could make a really raunchy movie about King David.
Yeah, I'm like,
Yeah.
I don't know if him sleeping with Jonathan will make it because I see a cute
Right.
animated David like kid with a mouse. So this is before any of that
Oh,
happens.
I see.
Gotcha.
Um, I think it's very David and Goliath. Uh, but
Mm.
I mean, I feel like VeggieTales already did that one so well. Like, why do we need
And
to? Yeah,
why rehash it when they do it so perfectly?
yeah. God,
Truly.
with God's help, little guys can do big things too.
Yeah.
That's the moral of the story. That's all
Yeah,
you need to know.
yeah. It's called Dave and the Giant Pickle. Yeah.
Yep.
So yeah, so it's not Angel Studios because a lot of stuff that you'll see coming out that's like Christian is from them.
Mm.
Um, but no. So this movie exists in a weird place. A lot of Christians that I saw felt offended by inaccuracy,
Uh-huh.
or that the film was too feminist.
Of course
Right.
it
Um,
was.
Uh-huh.
Yes, and then it was very interesting. It was like specifically this Catholic couple, and you know when you're listening to a couple talk and they keep looking at each other to make sure they're not saying something out of line.
Oh no.
You know, where they like keep
Uh-huh.
looking to make sure each other's getting approval, or especially like the wife is, and it's like this kind of performance of like we're in this together, but it feels like a weird power dynamic, or like you're trying not to explode. I don't know. It's like a thing a lot of Christian couples do to be like, wow, we're like so connected. And I'm like, I feel worried about you.
Mm,
So I hope they're doing well. They said it was really funny though. But some people were really offended and were like, I would never take my children to see this schlock.
interesting.
Yeah. And I'm like, some people will never know joy.
No.
So maybe m- maybe this will, I'll posit this now and we can talk about when we get to the lore section a bit more, but like what we know of the the conception and birth of Jesus comes from Matthew and Luke, those two, like the
Yeah.
what,
Two
four
of the four
chapters?
gospels. Yeah.
Yeah, the
And
four
the
chapters
first
that
two
you sent me.
chapters. Yeah.
That's it,
Hmm.
right?
Not a lot.
So there's not a lot. So we've done a lot of interpretation. Never mind. Maybe I
Yeah.
shouldn't say that.
So this movie made a modest box office profit. Good for them.
Was it in theaters or just
Yeah.
streaming?
Yeah.
It was in
I'm pretty
theaters?
sure, yeah.
Like a limited release or just
Yeah, I
like
think I mean it
Whoa.
came out, I think it just like it was 2023. I think like movies were still kind of well, I mean, was that the year of Barbie? Yeah.
Yeah,
yes,
I think it was
probably.
just
Oppenheimer.
like a small release and it was probably like advertised mainly to like families and kids,
Right.
as like a it's Christmas time, take your kids to the movies.
We come here
Uh
to laugh, to cry.
yeah.
Yes.
To go to a place we've never been before, and then we see Jurassic Park, a place we've been before. Um,
Yeah. Oh my God.
uh, this was also filmed in Spain.
I read that. I was like, oh,
Oh.
okay. That makes sense.
Yeah,
That's how they got Antonio Banderas, I bet.
yeah,
Right. He's like, if it's gonna be in Spain, I'll be there, you know?
I can drive there. I'll just
Yes.
yeah. They went with a classic, very like what white, but yet borderline and like ambiguous. Like we're not doing blonde Jesus, but we're
no.
not doing super brown Jesus either. You know.
Right.
Yes.
Which is very safe. Can't quite blame them for it, and that's how most religious art is anyway. So, but yeah,
Yeah.
Right.
I
uh,
have to say, I was thinking of probably one of my favorite like religious pieces, like something I would think I would maybe still watch as an adult is the 1977 miniseries Jesus of Nazareth.
mhm.
Like, I don't know if you've ever seen that one. It's so well done. It's beautiful. But I was thinking about it, and I'm like, literally in that movie, Jesus is white and blonde and has
Yeah,
blue eyes. And the actor does a brilliant job. Is it Robert something? I forget. But it's like, yeah, I thought about it. I'm like, wow, it's mostly British people, actually, that
yeah,
one. So I'm like,
Huh.
yeah, definitely not accurate.
yeah.
Beautiful full production, but not accurate.
British Swords and Sandals is like a Hollywood classic. Like if
Absolutely.
someone's Roman, they're British. Yeah,
Yes.
and
Yeah.
blonde Jesus is a Mormon thing.
Yeah.
Really?
Because growing
That makes
up,
sense.
if you said what hair color does Jesus have, I would have always said
Brown.
brown. Yeah,
Yeah.
Brown, yeah.
but
It's
like,
brown, it's shoulder length.
yeah,
He's cut, you
yeah,
know. I mean,
which is
before cut as in muscly, not just
yeah,
because he got stabbed when they were
yeah.
checking if he was dead.
And because he's modeled after Leonardo da Vinci's boyfriend. Yeah,
Wow.
that's kind of, yeah.
That's wild.
Um, so,
Interesting.
yeah. So I'm starting out with controversial takes already. All right. So, but this
Mhm.
movie starred Fiona Palomo as Mary, Milo Manheim as Joseph, Omid Djalili as Melchior, Rizwan Manji as Caspar. When I was watching this with my husband, he said, every movie that guy is in is a joke. Like that guy's always so unserious.
Oh yeah, Rizwan Manji.
Yeah,
And yeah, Omid Jalili is from The Mummy, the 1999. He plays the warden who
I was
gets
gonna
the
bring that up to you because I
yes.
saw that in his profile and I was like, oh my gosh.
Literally, I heard the voice. Like obviously he's got like this like beard and like all this like headgear on and stuff. Not headgear. He's wearing like his costume. And I'm like, I was like, I know that voice. And then suddenly it hit me. And he was like, I hate bugs. And like that's what I was like, oh, I heard
yeah.
it and I noticed. So yeah, two jokey actors. And then the other guy, the Balthazar guy, I was like,
Gino Siggers, yeah.
I've never seen him that I know of, but he looks so familiar.
I'm sure, yeah, I'm sure we've seen him in something.
Yeah.
Was he the really tall one?
Hmm.
Yeah, the one who had like the face
Hmm.
facial markings.
Yeah.
Yeah, and he seemed to be like more, he wasn't as kooky as the other two were.
Yeah.
No,
He
great
he wa-
voice.
he was the straight man in the group.
Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah. I wonder if he does voice acting because I feel like
Yes,
his
because
role.
I was like, I'm like looking at his stuff and I'm like, this is all like voice acting. So I'm like, maybe his voice is so familiar that I'm like, oh, I've seen that guy before. I just don't know where.
Where
But yeah, interesting.
I got my notes. I
You're
got my notes.
ready. We
I'm
have
ready.
Mariah
In your beautiful
Smallbone.
cursive, of course.
Oh,
Yes.
well, it might be less beautiful now, but thank you. Ah,
We have Mariah Smallbone as Deborah, uh, Joel Smallbone as Antipater. He's from a Christian band. Um, and I saw the name and felt like I didn't want to type it, but it's something like God and Country or something. Uh, Christian rapper Lecrae as Gabriel.
That's who that was. I was like,
Yes.
I have seen this person.
Stephanie Gill as Rebecca, Antonio Cantos as Joachim, Marie Pao Pigam as Anna, Alicia Borrache, Borrachero as Rachel, Antonio Gill as Jacob, and Antonio Banderas as Herod the Great. Um, we all know the story of Christmas, or do we? So, to kind of look at like, okay, whenever it gets to a holiday and a religious holiday, you're going to be dealing with a lot of different conflicting sources. You're going to get the people that are like, everything's secretly pagan. You're going to get the people that are like, Christianity is like everything, put the Christ back in Christmas. Nothing, no one has ever thought anything incorrectly in Christianity ever. So you're gonna have like these different takes. And the everything secretly pagan could be an atheist take, a pagan take, or some Christians take. So it's kind of a mess. So I was doing my best to try and find like the most neutral sources or like a source with a clear bias. Um, but there are pagan holidays whose traditions did affect Christmas. That's not a conspiracy. That is just how culture works. And if you see anything that references like a Babylonian king, that's from this weird British guy who wrote this really long book that tried to say everything was about Nebuchadnezzar and Babylonianism, and it makes no sense, and there's no actual historical data to back it up. But the ideas still persist, and your pagan and atheist and Christian friends will post about them on Facebook. Um, but like the research was incorrect, like doesn't even line up with the Brothers Grimm's linguistics. Like that's how long ago you could say this. I think it was incorrect the moment it was written. Like the research
Mhm.
was already wrong. But the History Channel, everyone's dad's favorite channel,
Yep.
gave me some insights. Um, the winter solstice, coldest, darkest night of the year. Very common time for people to celebrate in pagan Europe. Like in Yule, they'd light the Yule log. Every spark meant a calf born that year. 12 days of feasting. There's Odin and the wild hunt, that in the dark and the night, Odin, the god of king of the gods, god of wisdom and also war and spooky things, and he'd be out hunting. And so it's like a be aware of the spirits. Rome had Saturnalia in honor of Saturn, an agricultural god who ruled the Golden Age. So it was a time of feasting, gift giving, role reversal, like people switching roles in society, masters serving their servants. This was honored in December, as well as Juvenalia, a feast honoring the children of Rome. The secret military cult Sol Invictus honored the sun being reborn on December 25th, as well as the Persian god Mithras, who Romans had sort of acquired, who's also a sun god, talked about him being born at this time. And Mithras is is a descendant of Zoroastrianism, which is one of the oldest religions in the world, which featured a good god and an evil god duking it out. And a lot of those ideas potentially influenced like Jewish and Christian ideas of the divine. Um,
I recognize it, and perhaps my gamer friends out there will recognize it from Civ 4 and 5 at least, the ones I
yeah,
played.
the
So,
gamers out there.
Sid Meier's Civilization,
Yeah.
that's how I was like, I've never heard of this religion. And that's actually how I learned about it when I don't even know, 22. And I was like, oh, huh, look at that.
I learned about it from that biopic of Freddie Mercury.
Oh my gosh. Yeah.
Yeah, his family was like a they were Zoroastrians. I think they were like ethnically Indian, but then they moved to
Mhm.
Zanzibar and then they moved to Britain. And it's
Yeah.
like I didn't even know it was still practiced. I was
Yeah,
surprised, but it was
it's
Huh?
still
interesting.
thriving. Yeah, they
Yeah.
have a holiday in around the holiday season called Yalda, and there's a lot of like pomegranates involved.
Mm.
Um,
My hypothesis is that it's like you said, darkest night of the year, like cold, dark, December 21st. Everybody wants to party.
yeah, I mean,
You need to do something.
especially yeah, like you have to light a fire because you can't see, you're cold, and so it's like you got to drink, you got to eat food that you harvested before it goes bad.
Mhm.
You know, um, it makes sense. So in the early years of Christianity, Easter was top dog. Um, but eventually Christmas, especially in the West, surpassed Easter. The first recorded Christmas that celebrated the birth of Jesus is often cited as starting in 336 AD or BCE, put together by Pope Julius. However, some historical evidence suggests maybe as far back as the second century, people were observing Christmas at this time. But that's what we know for sure. It's set and that we things traverse into the medieval period, which we talked a little bit about in Night Before Christmas.
Of course we did.
Here it was a Mardi Gras like rowdy celebration of 12 nights ending in a 12th night. That's why you get Shakespeare's 12th Night referencing it's a rowdy comedy referencing a time of rowdiness and wildness. Um, Charlemagne's coronation, Emperor Charlemagne was crowned the first Holy Roman Emperor on Christmas, which really made Christmas take off. It became a popular day for coronations and knighthoods. So there was a religious side as well as like let's get drunk and fuck around side. And so that's why, when you get to when Oliver Cromwell and the Puritans take over England, and we had Charles the First and I believe it was Charles One, yeah, and take over the Glorious Revolution, I believe. They launched the real war on Christmas. You could be imprisoned for celebrating Christmas. Your Christmas goods could be confiscated. It's giving Grinch. It's giving the White Witch in Narnia with her illegal
Mm.
Christmas, which is very much something I could see C.S. Lewis intentionally referencing. Um, but yeah, so there's they launched a literal like legal war on Christmas until Charles II came back and he brought Christmas back. And people were like, great, we can have Christmas again. We can have Huckleduckles. Shout out to our Robin Hood Men in Tights
Yep.
episode. People were like, finally, we can party. But in Scotland, Puritans kept that shit canceled until 1958.
What?
So obviously, in the later times, it wasn't like really enforced. But since 1640 until it became an official holiday in Scotland in 1958, records show, definitely more on the earlier side of that era, people being imprisoned, socially excommunicated from the church for celebrating Christmas, breaking Yule bread, singing filthy Christmas carols. Even after the monarchy was restored, the Scottish Kirk or the Scottish Church kept Christmas illegal. And it came even later on with social consequences, maybe. Even if it wasn't legal, it was like, oh, you celebrate Christmas. So New Year's became their big holiday, um,
Wow.
which is common also in places where Christmas was banned, like Russia.
Mm.
But it was added to the public holiday ledger in 1958. And similarly, in the Americas, in the English colonies in like New England, Christmas was illegal. You could be fined if they heard you showing a festive spirit or singing. Um, Jamestown, though, John Smith, oof. Uh, he was not writing about the colors of the wind, but he did say that Christmas was being celebrated in Jamestown. So in the South, Christmas was allowed.
Mm.
Was it more because people used it as an excuse to party? Like if you decided to say in like early November, be like, we're gonna celebrate that Jesus was born. Like that couldn't have been the reason, but it was more because it was associated with, I'm guessing, like
Debauchery.
debauchery. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, I mean debauchery, drinking, dancing, it was associated with monarchy, the like the excesses of monarchy, specifically the excesses of Catholics and Catholic monarchy and Catholic
Mm.
power. And like that included art and celebration and color. And those were things that they were not about.
Did
It
you
was
say
not about,
color?
yes. Uh
Okay. Can't even have colors.
yeah,
Black and white.
frivolity. Yeah. So they were like, we're good, pious, honest people. So the war of Chris on Christmas began with the US being not on Christmas's side. To all
Wow.
those people saying we're a Christian nation. And we'll see that that pattern may continue. Victorian reinvention. Christmas started to really take off. We get the Christmas tree imported from German Protestants in England and then the US. You get poems like the "Twas the Night Before Christmas," but also in 1819, best-selling American author Washington Irving wrote The Sketchbook of Geoffrey Crayon, a series of stories about the celebration of Christmas in an English manor house, which made Christmas about like we're all equals, like forgetting status, sharing in common joy. You have Christmas Carol by Charles Dickens declaring Christmas as a holiday of like goodwill, cheer, and charity to others. So Christmas gets a rebrand. It also the upper class was like, wow, the poor people are really upset by income inequality and they riot in the winter. So we need a holiday so they have joy and keep them
Mm.
distracted. So 1870 is when Christmas first became a public holiday in the US.
That makes sense. It's
Yeah.
coming up right to the Industrial Revolution. What great timing.
Yeah.
It's literally right after Reconstruction or like toward the end of Reconstruction, right into the Industrial
Yeah.
Revolution. What fantastic timing. That
Yeah.
that's not conspicuous at all.
Well, wild that it wasn't a public holiday. Uh,
But did we have like public holidays? Like was that a thing then?
yeah,
Or it's just like, really?
I think, yeah.
Easter?
I don't
I
think
don't
Easter would have been a public holiday.
yeah,
Um,
I don't know.
Well, does that mean that Thanksgiving technically came before Christmas then in the US? Because wasn't it Lincoln who said there should be like a day of Thanksgiving? Or maybe it wasn't on the same,
it might be.
maybe it wasn't on the same
I didn't
like
research the
time.
concept of public holidays in general, which I should have.
Why didn't you?
I know.
No, that is kind of a weird thing that I brought up because I was like, well, I mean, did they even have
Yeah,
calendars?
they did. They
They
did have
had
calendars.
calendars, but
Yeah.
but the idea of like public holidays, for some reason, I don't know why to me it reads very contemporary, the idea of a public, but that's because I work in the capitalist system.
Yeah.
So,
Public
Gotta put in for,
holidays, medieval. They're pretty old. I mean, ancient.
yeah, gotta put in for that PTO.
Yeah. It was also influenced by immigrants. You have increased waves of Catholic immigrants from places like Italy, Poland, Germany, Ireland, Mexico, or people who are Mexican being forcibly annexed into the United States. Uh, you also have High Church Episcopal, which has Christmas celebrations. So even the WASPs have something going on. Um, and it became a holiday of family, gift giving, charity, good feeling. Also, a time where people could be nice to their kids without feeling guilty. There was this growth in the understanding that children were like people and like slightly different than adults and needed like love and nurturing in a way that people didn't really think of before, but they didn't want to be seen as spoiling their children. So it's like you could be nice to your kids and have like love and joy without like feeling bad about it. So that really helps Christmas.
That's
They were gentle
crazy.
parenting, but only for like a few days a year.
Yeah. They're like, wow,
Yeah,
I guess I can give my kid candy like once.
that's so wild to think about.
Yeah. Uh, why December 25th?
Because that's the day that Jesus was born.
Yes. Oh yeah, because we didn't really talk about this. That I mean, I didn't go today. Sorry, because I was doing these notes. But I have sort of been going to church a bit
I
recently.
was like, wait, you didn't go to mass because you
I
were
was doing
doing
these notes
research.
about
Listen,
Jesus.
this is this is a form of studying
Yeah,
of
I
the
have my
Bible.
Bible out.
Listen,
Yeah, it's
I
on
read
topic.
I literally saved the Bible verses you sent me for today so that I could feel just a little Christian.
Yeah.
I went to a holiday concert in which I did sing Silent Night. I wasn't
Oh,
triggered at all.
Oh
wow.
wow,
Your
you're
origin
growing.
story. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. So, yeah. So, like, when I talk about this, uh, I do believe the story. I do in a way, but I also believe everything. I always say like Cinderella's mother, I believe in everything. And so sometimes when I say I believe it, that means I believe most of this happened or a version of this happened.
Right.
And at the end of the day, like who's to say? But it's like I know you feel is true in your heart and what seems to there's certain parts of the story that matter to me more than others. But so I am, I guess, Christian. I mean, I do attend church sometimes, so I'm not a hater. So if I say something that offends you, I guess the call is coming from inside the house,
Right.
or at least in the yard of the church property.
The
So, uh,
rectory.
yeah, the rectory. Uh, but yeah, so December 25th is 9 months after the vernal equinox, March 25th. Uh, it's also astrochronologically significant in people like numerology and stuff like that. I didn't have time to fully understand that. There's a lot of research I'll be getting into. So okay, yeah, March 25th is observed in many denominations of Christianity as the feast of the Annunciation.
Mm.
Any guesses what that might be?
They learned how to pronounce consonants. Ariana Grande was not there. She
Yeah,
missed
she missed that one.
Well, you said it was 9 months,
Hmm.
so closer to 40 weeks, but I'm gonna
it.
guess that's when Gabriel said, "Hey Mary, you're going to have a baby."
Yes. So that is the Feast of the Annunciation. When the angel Gabriel comes to Mary and very pivotally, she says, yes. Uh, she is debatably historical of the age between 12 to 17 at this time.
That's a pretty wide range.
Yeah. Because some people would say that's when you would be betrothed and not yet wed. Um, Other people are like, well, actually sometimes people would get married closer, like 16, 17, and that does tend to be a debate often is I think there's always an assumption that women were married really young, and when you look at actual historical records, that's not always as common, especially among regular people. Like rich people would do that because they were like trying to ensure inheritance. But if you were just
Right.
like Joe the carpenter, like you could let your daughter be 20, so, and a lot of records do show, at least medieval records show people being more married more in their like late teens to early and mid 20s. So less 13-year-old brides. And I love that for those people. So according to the Catechism of the Catholic Church, which I looked at,
But you
uh,
sent me a passage
I sent you a
from.
packet because it referenced Hannah. Yeah.
Yeah.
There you go.
So God wished the free cooperation of a creature to make the incarnation happen. Obviously, I'm paraphrasing a little, but the free cooperation is something I wanted to. Free cooperation of a creature. Creature being anything that's
Sure.
not God is made by
Okay,
God.
got it.
Because sometimes you see a creature and you're like, animal? No.
So we're
Yeah.
creatures.
Yeah,
We're little creatures.
as well as angels are creatures because they were
Oh yeah,
created.
created.
Yeah.
That created, I never thought about that. Yeah, I always thought creature. I guess that makes sense for like Mary Shelley's Frankenstein, where it's like, oh, he's a creature because he was created.
Not because
Yeah.
he's
Not-
gross. Yeah.
He is
Yeah.
gross, but that's beside the
But
point.
he's also Jacob
Yeah.
Elordi. Yeah.
Oh my
True.
God.
Yes.
You're gonna
Yeah.
have
That
to cover that one.
Oh, I was just thinking that honestly.
yeah.
Uh, so
And we
just
have Bride of Frankenstein is coming out. It's called The
ooh,
Bride. Maggie Gyllenhaal's directing. I think I mentioned this on a previous episode.
yeah.
I'm so excited for it. So yeah.
Uh,
Yeah.
so just as a woman, this is talking about women. So just as a woman had a key role in the arrival of death, so too a woman would have a key role in the coming of life. So
See, we're not all bad.
yeah, they're not all bad. It's the if Christ is the new Adam, Mary is the new Eve. It's like a literary or symbolic theological like foil.
Mm.
Um, because she says yes and obeyed God, whereas Eve said no and disobeyed. So
That's
it's like,
bad.
and that's bad. So it's like by Eve's sin, and that leads Adam to sin. Like, so it's like a reverse. So Mary saying yes to this happening is central, at least in Catholicism, to the how the whole theology is structured. And also the concept of that God says to Eve that there will be enmity between the serpent and the woman, and the children of the serpent and the children of the woman, or his seed and her seed. And you'll bite her heel and she'll step on your head. So that's why a lot of art of the Virgin Mary will show a serpent being crushed under her feet, because she's the new Eve who crushes the serpent instead of
Does the
being
serpent
listening
say,
to
"Don't
it.
tread on me"?
Yeah.
Sorry,
Yeah.
couldn't help myself.
Yeah, I'm that serpent is definitely a don't tread on me person. Yeah. And she's stepping on him. And so this is different than the concept of the Immaculate Conception, which isn't declared by until Pope Pius in 1854.
Oh,
Only
recent.
like 20 something years before Christmas became a public holiday in America.
Yeah. Uh, that is observed on December 8th, uh, which is considered a holy day of obligation, at least in the United States, where you're supposed to attend church. But this concept is that Mary had no sin, original or otherwise. Original sin, which we probably talked about in like the Time Traveler's Wife,
Yeah.
is the concept that Augustine really cemented, that uh, we are all, as descendants of Adam and Eve, marked by sin. But Mary, through kind of a Marvel style time twist, was saved by the merits of Christ. So ahead of time, they like took the merits that he earned and back in time. I'm doing a whole hand gesture, listener. Sorry. Uh, so the person who gave Jesus 100% of his DNA, his whole physical form, would not pass on any sin. So like his human body
was
wasn't.
was pure because her human body was pure because her spirit was pure because
They did a Marvel
they
style
moved.
time twist.
Yes, exactly. They had the time turner from Harry
Yeah.
Potter. Sorry. Oh, sorry, that's witchcraft. Oh my God.
Yeah.
I remember having this conversation with my grandmother. So real quick, my parents were both raised Catholic, both of like Irish descent generally, as far as we know. Anyway, they were raised Catholic, they were married in the Catholic Church. I was baptized in the Catholic Church at some, and then around when I was a toddler, they converted to like evangelical Protestantism. Anyway, so my mom's mom, who was my only living grandparent, I was very close with her growing up, and she was Catholic. I had mentioned this to Hannah. I was like, evangelical indoctrination could never have been complete with me because, like,
You had
I
that Catholic,
I had that Catholic grandmother I was super
that
close to.
paganism.
I
Yeah.
went to public school. Like, it was never
Yeah.
going to be, like, it was never going to be
Yeah.
to I'm getting ahead of myself. Anyway, I remember my grandma and I having this conversation, and she mentioned like the Immaculate Conception was because when I hear that, I think like, oh, Jesus' Immaculate Conception, but that it refers to Mary's conception.
Yeah.
And I don't know, I hope I don't offend any Catholics with this, but I remember thinking like, if a pure thing can't come out of an impure thing, then where's the miracle?
Yeah. I guess just in the no daddy
I guess, yeah,
and the
what?
no
Okay.
sperm. But
And
I that is actually a
no Y
beautiful way to
chromosome.
phrase that.
Yeah.
I just remember, like, that saying, like, it's turtles all the way down?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That it's like, I'm like, wait a minute, though. Like, wouldn't, for Mary to be pure, then her mom wouldn't, like, I'm like, but
Yeah.
all the turtles going down, like, I
It
don't know.
just needed one generation.
I guess so.
That's,
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't want to disrespect. I don't.
no, I think
Yeah.
this is a safe space to share your opinions, and then which you share in a very thoughtful, beautiful way. So,
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. I didn't mention that to my grandmother. I remember thinking like, huh, and listening and thinking like that doesn't seem I'm not gonna say that.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
yeah.
can think things and not say them out loud.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
one of my best skills.
But that you're pointing to a very common misconception about the Immaculate Conception that even
Oh.
this movie features, where people
Mhm.
will say Immaculate Conception to refer to the virginal birth and conception
Yeah.
of Christ. Um, I think because everyone's familiar with that aspect of the story, and this is the fact that she was conceived specially is more of a deep cut. Uh, so
Only
Yeah,
real
that's on the
fans know that.
only real
that's the
fan.
B side. Yeah.
Yeah. So people are like, oh, yeah, but they know the phrase because, Church of the Immaculate Conception, or there's say hymns like Immaculate Mary. So people like they're aware of it, and they'll be like, oh yeah, this but no, that's not true. And Glee also made a joke like that. And that's one of my favorite nerd things to say, and be like, actually, that's not true.
Well,
Um,
actually.
well, actually,
Actually.
and so her consent, which is actually the word the catechism used, is that her consent undoes Eve's doubt and disobedience. And as Eve was the mother of the living, so Mary becomes the new mother of the living. So like her faith and her consent. And I just really want to put a pin in that consent concept. There are also several councils that dedicated that Mary was the mother of God because Jesus is both God and man. Because there are people
Right.
that were like, he has a God body and a Jesus body, or there's God Jesus and man Jesus. And they're like, no, he's both. And then people ran around calling Mary Theotokos, God bearer. There was like a big, people were partying in the streets after this decision was reached in the Council of Ephesus. Do you know what temple was famously in Ephesus? One of the seven wonders of the ancient world, the temple of Artemis, a goddess who is both a
Oh.
goddess of childbirth and motherhood as well as a virgin goddess. So I
Huh.
think the population was like, we love this
We
concept.
love a virgin.
We
We love
love
a
mothers.
virgin, we love a mother. Why can't they be both?
Yeah.
It's it's the most unrealistic expectation for women.
Yeah.
You can be a mother, but without all the icky sex stuff. Be both a
Yeah.
virgin and a mother.
The Madonna whore concept really
The
just laid
original
out
Madonna
there.
whore concept.
Yeah.
Yeah. Uh, yeah.
Literally.
So the childhood of Mary, because that is comes up. There's a lot of like the apocryphal Gospel of James gives a lot of this stuff in. But there's the idea that she was also of the house of David, like a
Mm.
distant branch, and uh, that she was married. That's how her and Joseph were both of the house of David. Her parents were Anne and Joachim is common tradition. Saint Anne, patron saint of grandmas.
Aw.
Yeah,
Oh,
she's
it's
Jesus'
cute.
his
I didn't know.
grandma. Yeah. And also there's the apocryphal Gospel of James has this concept of her being presented in the temple at 3 to be like a temple virgin, that she was dedicated to the Lord and she lived there to study scripture, which is I'm bringing this up because that kind of comes up in the
In the
movie.
movie, yeah.
Hmm.
And that at 12, she was given to Joseph as a spiritual guardian because her father was dead, and then she became pregnant at 16. And in a lot of Eastern Orthodox churches, this is a major holiday observed on November 21st. I guess sort of still a Catholic holiday somewhat, but everyone at some point, not like decently long ago, was kind of like, wait, this has no historical basis in Jewish tradition and is not validated in the Gospels. So
Mm.
maybe we just kind of like tamp this one down,
Hmm.
'cause like that that's not really something they did. It would maybe be familiar to people who had like abbeys and monasteries, but there was not like or Vestal virgins, but there were not like temple virgins in like the Jewish temple.
Hmm.
So that's why they're kind of like, wait, what? Um,
Do you think it was a Jewish person who brought that up, or were they just like, they'll figure it out? You know what? Never mind. Like, we're just not going to bring it up.
maybe it just took them that long to listen to the one Jewish person who had said something. They're like, we don't
Yeah.
do
That I
that, right?
believe. Yeah.
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 They were like, what do you know?
Yeah.
Oh.
And this leads to the concept of perpetual virginity, which comes up. So Catholicism specifically maintains that she was ever virgin, and any references to brothers or sisters of Jesus are references to cousins or family members or children that Joseph had from a previous marriage. He was a widower, and that Jesus is her only like son, but we are all her children. Um, so you get that, and then other people are like, nope, she had kids with Joseph.
That was what I was taught. I was so curious to ask you about this. I'm like, oh, a
Yeah.
bona fide Catholic, I can ask about it.
Uh,
Um, yeah. I was
ye-
taught that they had kids after
Yeah.
Jesus. And I remember thinking like, well, that wouldn't be wrong, right? Like she's
they're
the Virgin, they
married.
didn't have sex, they're married. Like what's the big deal? But I guess yeah, if you if her virginity is super special, it makes more, I
Mm.
guess it does make more sense to consider her that the whole time. But I always just thought like, oh yeah, okay, after they like,
Yeah.
that doesn't seem wrong. But I'm sure certain Catholics would be like, how dare you?
How
Like
dare
Yeah.
you?
Yeah.
yeah.
I think the thing that I would be more concerned about is, those other kids as siblings, like they're like, well, I'm not the son of God, who am
Yeah.
I? Chopped liver? Chopped
Yeah.
lamb,
Chopped
That'd be
lamb.
tough.
Yeah, it's like, how do you follow that up? It's
Yeah.
Hard
yeah.
act to follow.
Yeah, exactly. It's like a new Cain and Abel situation.
Ooh. Robin
And
Williams had a bit on this of like the brother of Christ and how he was like a screw up and sorry, go ahead.
Okay, now
that's
I need
pretty
a
good.
sketch on that. I can,
It's
Yeah.
yeah.
oh my God.
Jerry.
Okay.
Jerry
So
Christ was the joke.
Gary Great.
amazing.
I want him to interact with that Mel Brooks, immortal Jewish shop owner sketch, who was
Oh
like, "Oh, Jesus
yeah.
came in, looked around, didn't buy
He didn't
anything."
buy anything. Yeah.
Yeah. Uh,
Sorry, go ahead.
so yeah, and this is kind of the Catholic statement is kind of that uh, Mary is blessed because of her own will. She dedicates her whole self to God, and therefore no other man has no other really man or master. It's just God. And this is where I say, so you admit it. Marriage is a form of men owning women.
Mm.
Uh, so, all right. Ooh. And that is historically, like, let's be honest, that is what marriage is. So, I guess I always felt that I was one of the people who hated when people said, oh, she had other kids,
Mhm.
because I felt like in kind of the Protestant worldview, the only ever possible role for women was a subservient wife or mother. Like in Catholicism, while still very conservative, had a variety of female figures who were not owned by a man or who chose to kind of do their own thing.
Hmm.
And so, as much as it is still incredibly patriarchal, there was like, oh, you could also, there's like two other options, not just one.
Yeah.
And so I felt like when people were so, oh no, she definitely had kids with Joseph, it was like they couldn't fathom the idea of
Of
a
her not
woman not,
having children with her husband. Because
yeah,
I think that was a point of contention that I found confusing, and probably because of the own internalized misogyny that I got from my upbringing was that like, but what about Joseph? He doesn't get to have kids. Like he
He
has
doesn't get to have
he
sex.
has this, yeah, he doesn't get to have sex. Oh no,
Yeah.
but like that, like he doesn't get to have a kid of his own, right? So it's like
yeah,
Jesus is like his step kid, and then he has
yeah,
actual kids. And I don't know why that was like a thing that stood out to me. Again, probably, and also the idea of like, wouldn't Joseph be jealous? And it's just like,
yeah.
where is that coming from, Hannah? Like, why it, but I mean, if you're in that situation, perhaps that's human. And I think this movie kind of
Yeah,
touches on that a little bit,
A little bit. Yeah.
so
yeah. Yeah, so this is a great episode to really unpack a lot of our past
yep.
ideologies, because it's like you can
There's so
hear the
much.
same story and have very different points of view. And because I was like, oh, like, are you implying that all women need to be sexually owned by a man, and that a man wouldn't be okay with like her being like, actually, I'm not into that, and him being like, sure, we can just like take care of God's baby together,
Right.
you
A
know?
Josephine marriage. I think they
Yeah,
actually called it, right?
yeah,
Um,
uh,
yeah, I find it interesting because you mentioned like I've wondered there's a lot of at least in the church I grew up in,
yeah.
hashtag not all Protestants, but
Yeah,
um
of course. Yeah.
there
I know
was
I shit talk, but we should be
no
respectful. Yeah.
there was I would say and again I think like I had people in my family who were
Yeah.
Catholic, so but there
Yeah.
was a lot of I would say outright hostility
Yeah.
towards Catholicism, and
Oh,
one of
yeah.
the big things was, and this was said like the way Draco Malfoy talks about
Yeah.
being like like it was like, oh, they worship Mary. Like, isn't that
Yeah.
awful? Like, isn't that gross? And it's like because I think it was interpreted as a sort of like goddess worship.
Right.
Yeah.
Yep.
And that was like so like against everything. It's like, or like if like a little kid asked, like, well, what if God's a woman? And that was like, ugh, like how dare you
Yeah.
say that? Like that's gross. And it's like, why is it gross? And it's like, because women are inherently gross. They wouldn't say that.
But
But
that
Right.
the
is,
idea that you would like venerate a woman or
yeah.
Mhm.
pray to a woman or like that was a
Yeah.
huge like no. And I don't think I thought about that until I was an adult. It's like, huh, I
Same.
wonder if that had
Yeah,
something
Yeah.
especially with
to do with it.
like female saints. It's like that's
Yeah.
Yes,
not a thing
female
that we
saint.
have a concept in like Protestant
Mm-mm.
Yeah.
like sects. Like it's just not. And so like being because also if I hear saint, I would immediately think, oh, like male saints, like the various ones that I knew of from having family
Mhm.
and friends who were Catholic. But then it's like, oh no, there's actually female saints. I'm like,
Mm,
Yeah.
ew.
yes.
That's like that weird internal misogyny that I got from my and being like, that's so weird. What do you mean? Like you have like a woman that you like, you know?
Yeah.
She did something good. The only woman I
Yeah.
ever heard about was Eve, and then Mary was like awesome, but it's like she
Yeah.
was kind of just like, yeah, she gave birth. That was kind of
End
it.
of list.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
And
Yep.
I
Yeah.
haven't really thought about that, but yeah, that's literally it.
So there is like the concept of, so Catholicism is very nitpicky, of course. So there'll be like there's worship versus veneration. So you
Right.
worship God, but you venerate Mary and the saints, and
Yes.
that can be splitting hairs. Because I
Probably
do,
is.
yeah, like I do think like emotionally, I always connected with Mary often more than the concept of like a distant daddy god, as some people would say. So I would feel like I did at Our Lady of Sorrows devotion, and like in times of like emotional turmoil, like that figure is who I think of.
Mm.
Like Jesus or Mary, but especially Mary and like all her different forms. Like she seemed very approachable because she was also human. Like she wasn't God,
Yeah.
um, at all. Like Jesus is both. Um,
So he's like untouchable, and you're
Yes.
yeah,
And
like, oh, I
it
can go
kind
to
of
her.
yes, it feels like unattainable, like or unapproachable
Mhm.
yeah.
in a way. That's so
Yeah.
interesting.
And also like the concept of I mean I think it's just the inherently pagan aspect of who I am is that I liked having multiple saints and
Yeah.
like kind of like that's how I viewed the world. And I felt when I interacted sometimes in like more non-denominational evangelical Christian spaces, I felt that absence,
Mm.
both like there's just like the concept that there's like no saints, like no, so that means like no women,
You
no like
only worship
diversity.
God.
Yeah.
And I
And
and I even
and
felt
he's a
confused as like,
father. Yeah.
yes. And I even felt confused as to how much I was supposed to worship Jesus
Yeah.
or if they're exactly the same or if like it's God then Jesus.
Well, it's the Trinity.
Is it? I
Well,
mean, you guys have a very different perspective of the Holy Trinity than like
yeah.
specifically coming from a Methodist church than the Methodists do.
Yeah.
Um, it's not always that they are one, it is that they are three separate entities.
Three separate entities and one entity at the same time.
Or
It's
are
still
they?
confusing.
Yeah, because
And
that's
that's
the
the
thing. It's like,
Shamrock. Yeah.
yeah, but it's so interesting because yeah, you definitely have a lot more options to go to for comfort, which is
Yeah.
kind of like comfort and motivation and support, which is like a huge part of just being in a religion, of having
Yeah.
faith. And
Mhm.
like all we have is like this unattainable figurehead that you're supposed to trust is taking care of you, supposed to trust is hearing your prayers. But honestly,
Yeah.
if you think about it, one inbox to however many saints there are, that's a lot of
Yeah.
inboxes, you
We
know?
just talked
And
about this at my job. I'm like,
I
I need
know.
more help. I need more
Yeah.
help.
Yes,
Yeah. It's a
exactly.
bureaucracy up there. They're all
And
answering emails, you
but
know.
it like they're answering like for some reason I always think about well not for some reason obviously Bruce Almighty,
Yeah.
there's literally an inbox in that movie, but if you took it from the Catholic perspective, because that's very much a Protestant
Yeah.
perspective, like there is just God.
Yeah.
Jesus isn't even in that movie, you know, like if it was Catholic, it would be like, okay, well, God's inbox obviously is like the biggest, the longest,
But
but the
like
saints will
some of
help
those
out,
grandma
and
emails
some
are being
emails
forwarded
go
to Anne. Yeah.
yes, they go right to Anne. Like some of the emails are just going, some of the, what do they call it in Bruce Almighty? I can't remember. prayer mail or something. Or
Yeah.
like, you've got prayers. I think it was
Yeah.
also what it was,
Oh my God.
Yeah. Oh my
We
God.
Yeah.
gotta do that movie too, dude.
Oh, that'd
Oh,
be
Both of
amazing.
them. That and Evan
yeah.
Almighty.
That one was
Yeah.
Ooh.
funny too. But my grandma used to say, one of her youngest son, so my grandma had 8
Mhm.
kids. Her youngest
Wow.
son is an evangelical pastor now. And they had a good relationship. Like
Mhm.
his family lived with her for a while. Like
Yeah.
they had a good relationship that they did. There were certain things that they butted heads on, and one of them was worshiping Mary.
Hmm.
And another one was like whether or not communion is like literally flesh and blood.
Yes.
Yes.
For some reason, that's a bit. Not for some reason. I know that's a big deal.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I remember my girl. I swear, my grandma just she was awesome. Grandma
Yeah.
Teresa. So like Mother
Oh
Teresa,
yeah.
the joke that was her. She was named after the saint. But she was very outspoken, very like she should have been a good saleswoman. She like didn't
Yeah.
have an off switch, you know what I mean? Like one time in my uncle's church, he wasn't the one preaching. He wasn't main pastor yet, but they were talking about how like it's wrong that Catholics pray to saints. And my grandmother raised her hand
In the middle of the
in
sermon.
Icon.
the middle of the
Icon.
Oh
sermon.
my God, Grandma Teresa is
Grandma
an
Teresa.
icon. She's like,
She is.
excuse me.
She said she was like, I'm Catholic and I love Jesus, as you all do. And she said, have you, going through a tough time, ever asked one of your friends or your family members to pray for you? She said, that's how we see it.
That is correct. That is how they,
Yeah.
yeah.
And
Grandma Teresa. Oh my
my,
God.
like, oh my gosh, no, she was awesome. She passed away about 5 years
Oh,
ago, and she just, oh my gosh, she was great. She really was.
yeah.
And so it's like, it's interesting to have some of that back and forth, like at a young
Yeah.
age. It's like, oh, okay, people do interpret this differently, and they feel very strongly about it, you know?
They do. Yeah.
And
But
it's
yeah,
so
so
good that you had someone to ask those questions to. That would have been really nice to
that would have been, yeah,
have.
no,
Yeah.
truly, yeah. It's funny, yeah. And I think a lot of the people we grew up in, they were Catholic too. So it's
Yes,
like,
a lot of Catholics.
yeah, like so
Yeah.
it's just,
I
yeah,
remember, yeah, Ash Wednesday, everyone would show up with Ash
with
on
the
their face.
little, yeah,
And I didn't understand it because I didn't have anyone in my family who was like practicing Catholic. They were all
Mhm.
former Catholics.
right, yeah.
And so I would be like, what is going on? And
Be
then
like,
like, oh
hey,
yeah.
like, do you need this? You got a little something.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. And
Okay.
then by the time we were in middle school, I was like, oh, it's Ash Wednesday. Didn't know
Yeah.
that. Cool.
Like, man,
Yeah.
I feel left out.
That means, oh, so that means spring break is coming up. Nice.
Yes, yes. Like, oh yeah,
That- yeah. Thanks,
yeah.
Catholics. Thanks for the
Thank-
notification.
So I guess our next question
Was
is
that your
Joseph
fantasy?
was it no is Joseph Unk.
Unk, unk.
Uh many traditions state that Joseph was an older man or a widower with children from a previous marriage. And you'll see so that's why you'll see art where he's significantly older and
Older.
not this
Yeah.
hot
That confused
guy.
me as a child.
Yeah, that
Yeah.
we get in this. Who knows? No way to really be certain with these things. Patron saint of carpenters, workers, fathers, happy death. He's part of the Holy Family. So the concept Jesus, Mary, and Joseph, Holy Family. La Sagrada Familia in Barcelona.
Oh,
Barcelona.
Barcelona.
Barcelona. Barcelona.
Very popular feast days in March and May, like Saint Joseph the Worker became like kind of a labor union icon, I guess.
Love.
My husband Rafa played him in a parade in his hometown because his hometown had a festival of St. Joseph. He was the patron
Nice.
saint, so he had to like hold a fake baby in this parade.
Oh, hopefully not a real baby. I
No,
think
Yeah.
not a
a
real
real one.
baby.
Dang.
I'm like, whoa.
That would be a lot of pressure.
Yeah.
Real baby and being the lead in the parade. Oh my God.
And some statues, it's very common for him to have a staff topped with flowers or lilies. Recalling from that Gospel of James, that apocryphal gospel, that Mary's spouse was chosen by collecting walking sticks, and Joseph burst into flowers when it was collected, identifying him as her chosen husband.
Oh,
Huh.
wow. So she picked him, huh? Or, I mean, not her, but I mean, like,
Yeah.
her
Well,
parents
which
picked.
is interesting because some people had issues with the level of agency that Mary displayed in
Of
this
course they did.
film by
Of course
choosing
they did.
Joseph,
Hmm.
that this was a feminist film. Yeah, and I've always said that about this movie that I've just seen for the first
I've
time.
always said this about this movie. Yeah.
So when you get to the Christmas season and celebration of the Christmas season and how this theology is played out in regular people's festivities, you get things like first there was Martinmas. So Saint Martin of Tours had a November 11th feast day. So that was 40 days before Christmas, and that became Advent,
It
which
was
was
called Martin Miss.
yeah, because it was
It
Martin's Mass.
Got it.
Okay, gotcha. I was like, Steve Martin has his own Christmas holiday. Like it.
Yeah, November
That's what
11th.
As he
I thought.
should.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Martin of Tours is if you ever see art of a guy splitting a cloak with a beggar, because he split his cloak with a beggar and then he had a dream and it was like the beggar was like, I'm Jesus. And so it's like the whole kind of whatever you do to the least of the others, you do to Jesus.
Mhm.
Um, and so then eventually they streamlined Advent into the 4 Sundays before Christmas. They made an Advent wreath, 4 candles, three purple, one pink.
Yep.
Today was the pink Sunday. So sorry I missed that one. Yeah, there's
Dang.
2 pink days in the church calendar.
Why? What
Uh,
significance?
it's like if purple is the color of like repentance as you await a holiday, pink is like that repentance period is almost done. So you can be a little happier. Like
Oh,
a little
okay.
fun, spicy, little girly pop day. Yeah.
So wait, today was already the last day of Advent?
The third. So then there's
Oh,
it's
it's
purple
third.
again,
Oh,
darkest
it
before the
switches back.
dawn. Yeah.
Oh, whoa. Okay.
Some
Shake
other
it off,
dis
shake it off.
shake it off, as Florence and Florence and I have always said.
Yeah.
So December 6th, you have the Feast of St. Nicholas. We've talked about him before, gift giving, leaving your shoes under the mantle and he'd bring gifts. Eventually, that was moved to Christmas, and in some specifically Protestant countries, that was made to be baby Jesus, the
Mm.
Christkindl. Um, a big day that we had recently that's very big in the US is December 12th, which is Our Lady of Guadalupe. And so a lot of churches will have traditional Mexican dance and performances as she's the patron of the Americas and the New World and
Very
the
nice.
Christian populations there. And I don't know what movie, but someday we should talk about that story because it is actually a really cool story. And if you may be like, I don't know who Our Lady of Guadalupe is or the Virgin of Guadalupe, if you see the art, you'll be like, I've seen
Yeah.
that before. I've
Yes.
seen that image.
I was gonna say I don't even know the story. I just know of her because of the art that I've seen.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then December 13th, yesterday, big day in Scandinavia, and for fans of the American Girl doll Kirsten, St. Lucy's Day.
St. Lucy, the one who lost her eyeballs and they grew back, right?
Yes. Yes.
I know some stuff.
You know
There you
some
go.
stuff. And so associated with light, and they wear candles. You wear candles on your head and you sing a song.
We
Seems like a
talked
terrible idea.
about her, didn't we?
Maybe for night before Christmas. I was trying to
No.
find all our Christmas episodes, like what we talked about, because I'm like, I might have mentioned some of this before.
Yes, we definitely talked about I think we definitely talked about Lucy before because I remember the eyes thing
Yeah.
and the
And like Lucy in Chronicles of Narnia is kind of, some people say named after her,
Mm.
but maybe she was named after his goddaughter. I'm trying to remember. Um,
Maybe both.
Maybe both.
¿Por qué
December
no los
20.
dos?
Yeah. As Our Lady Guadalupe would say. Yeah.
As famously as Lady Guadalupe and myself say,
Yeah.
¿por qué no los dos?
Uh,
Lady Guadalupe and myself, we have always said.
We've always said.
December 25th, that became the first day of the Christmas season, 12 days of feasting. But that includes December 26th, Feast of the Holy Innocents, which is for the kids Herod killed. The
Also my
feet
grandma's birthday.
your grandma's birthday.
Yeah.
Uh, there's December, the Sunday after is considered the Feast of the Holy Family. You have December 28th, the Feast of St. John. From the Gospel of John, the disciple Jesus loved, maybe his boyfriend, maybe Mary Magdalene to the Dan Brownies out there.
Listen, I'm not proud to admit that I was very confused about Dan Brown lore because that came out when we were like kids,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
And so I was like, wait, did new Bible lore drop
Extended edition. Uh,
B-sides,
We
dude?
found new stuff.
Yeah.
Greg, my partner of well, almost 14 years now.
Aw.
He didn't grow up religious at all. But so occasionally he'll have these questions. But one of his genuine questions was because with the whole Dan Brown thing and like how angry so many
Mm.
Christians were like, oh my God, how dare they, imply that Jesus might have been married? But Greg was like, wait a minute, like being married is not a sin, right? Like, why would that be bad? And it's like Right. But I think my immediate response was like, well, because like supposedly he knew he would die, so like he wouldn't like it would be wrong to leave behind a wife, and also like the idea of Jesus having sex is really, really not
Yeah,
kosher.
a lot
Mhm.
of Christians, for very like Christian sex is very much it has to happen. So like if you're one of those people that can't keep it in, you got to get married and have penis and vagina, no contraceptive sex with your wife,
Missionary only.
and missionary
Missionary
only,
only. Yeah.
and have children.
Right.
That's like okay, we got to do that, but like it is kind of icky. And some people called St. Augustine out about that. They were like, maybe because you used to be a hoe and now you're weird about it. But that is an idea that persisted, and Paul sort of says it in a lot of his writings that like, oh, it's better to just be virginal, but like if you can't, I
It
guess you
is
get married.
it is better to marry than to burn up with lust is the
Yes.
verse, I think.
Whoa.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. But
That's what Elvis was talking about.
yeah. And the Jonas Brothers.
Yeah,
Yeah.
famously. Listen,
Famously all got married
all
at one
three of
point.
us. Yeah, well, yeah.
Mhm.
Mm.
Oh, I don't know this. I'll have to look up more about the Jonas Brothers.
Yeah, and their new Christmas film.
Really?
Yeah, a very
Yeah.
Jonas Christmas or something
Yeah.
like that.
It ends, the 12 Days of Christmas ended on January 6th for the insurrection. No, for the Feast of the,
Epiphany.
I do think about that now. It's like that date is different now.
yeah. And then the three wise men are pissed. So Epiphany, this was the feast when the three wise men arrived in like Mexico and other some other Spanish-speaking countries. Rosco de Reyes is eaten. It's where you cut the cake, and whoever gets the baby Jesus is blessed that year, and it has to provide tamales on February 2nd, the extra double finale of Christmas, Candlemas, the feast of the presentation, when Jesus was brought into the temple.
How fun.
And they would do candle procession, so that became the candle mass. And according to some, that's when King Arthur pulled that sword from the stone. Uh,
Hmm.
the three wise men, I think I put this in a different part, but I'm going to jump ahead to uh, what we got about the three wise men.
Sorry, Cullen, the three wise guys.
Three wise
Yes,
guys.
please get it right.
The Magi, they're mentioned in the Bible. That means like astrologers or Zoroastrian priests
Ooh.
who were into astrology, as a lot of priests and people were. Later made kings to really fit in some prophecy reasons. So in the Bible, they are not referenced as kings, but later they
Right.
were like kings because then, oh, all the other kings are bowing down to worship him. And then given the traditional names, again, not in the Bible, Caspar, Melchior, and Balthazar. And by the 12th century, Belshazzar is often a black guy. They're like representation matters in the 1100s.
Only in the 1100s.
Only in
Yeah.
the
The
1100s,
1000s
not
were
out.
like whites only.
Yeah.
Actually, I find medieval art to be more, the skin tones are often more diverse than post-colonial art when they were like, no, everyone in the Bible
Right.
was lily white.
Right.
And then in medieval art, they're much more like John the Baptist was probably kind of tan, right?
Yeah, at
He li
least.
he lived outside.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, he was hanging out in rivers and stuff.
Yeah.
He
He
didn't
set
Uh,
they
the
didn't
tree
have
back then.
sunblock then. Yeah.
no, he's eating locusts and honey. The three gifts of the wise men had spiritual meaning, gold being a symbol of kingship, frankincense, a symbol of deity, you offer incense to the deities, and myrrh was an embalming oil, so used for funeral rites, so a symbol of death.
Mm.
And they reference
Foreshadowing.
it, what do you say?
Foreshadowing.
Foreshadowing. Yeah,
Yeah.
spoilers. And they said myrrh so much, I'm like, Hannah's gonna love this. I have a gift to bring. Gold, thank you. I have a gift. Myrrh.
Murder.
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 Judas.
Judas, no.
Yeah. Uh,
Classic.
classic. So we're gonna finally get to those gospels. Um,
Just two
quick,
of them though.
just two of them, and only two chapters, so it's pretty quick. I was like, Hannah, what did I say? Do you want to read the Bible verses for
Yeah.
today or
Yeah,
not?
or not. And I said, laughing my fucking ass off. And I was like, yes, I do need to spell that out because that is the funniest fucking question you've ever asked me for this podcast. You're asking me to do a Bible study. That's what you're asking me. And that's so funny. And I was like, yeah, I do. And I
Yeah.
did.
Yeah, and the quick read.
Oh yeah. And you
Yeah.
said it was like, oh, it'll be like 30 minutes. I'm like, it took me 10 minutes, if that.
Yeah.
Because
Uh,
I'm not gonna lie, I did kind of skip over
the
the
genealogy.
Genealogy
genealogy.
bit,
I
yeah.
really went, was like, okay, I get it, I get it. Okay, David, great. We got to
Yeah.
David finally.
Yes, because Joseph is of the house of David. That's what's important.
Yeah, okay, you could have just said that.
Yeah. People were into genealogies.
The
Ge-
original ancestry.com.
yeah.
Yes.
Well,
Without the Mormons.
that is a famous thing. Jews were noted for being good at genealogy. Yeah. Joseph finds that Mary is pregnant, who he's betrothed to, and being a decent guy, he's gonna put her away quietly. Like he doesn't want to publicly shame and stone her. He's like, which is why you're like, wow, for being from like year zero, that is pretty sympathetic. Like,
Yeah,
wow, not a performative male ally. Really,
yeah.
like, okay, we just won't. You'll just, yeah.
Yeah.
But an angel is like, no. As the prophecy foretold, she's gonna bear a son. And Matthew's gospel, this part is all about as the prophecy foretold.
Yes.
Uh, Wise men from the east, magi, come looking for the king of the Jews. They've seen his star. And they go to Herod. They're like, we've seen this star. And Herod goes to the priests and scribes. He's like, who's your king? And they're like, well, the prophecy says he'll be born in Bethlehem, the town of David. Uh, and so he sends the kings along, or the wise men, the magi, and it's like, let me know if you find this baby so I can worship him too. But he's like, I don't want competition.
Just kidding.
There's only one room. There's room for only one king here.
Yeah.
Uh, and they find the baby, gold, frankincense, and myrrh, and worship him. And the angel is like, don't go back to Herod. And so they take a different route. The angel also warns Joseph to flee to Egypt. They become refugees, moving to a different area, a land they don't know, a land that was a symbolic of enslavement of the Jewish people and paganism and magic. Uh, Herod had every boy under 2 killed in Bethlehem. As the prophecy foretold, Rachel would be weeping for her children. There's
They
wailing
are
and
no more.
lamentation. They are no more. And this is often said to have a comparison to the birth of Moses, as for the Prince of Egypt fans. Okay, if we do this
AKB.
movie, we have to do Prince of Egypt
Prince of
now.
Egypt is peak cinema. Like it's
Yeah.
my
It
top
is.
10 movies of all time. It's amazing.
And
Truly.
and we already know who we have to have as a guest because we had
Yes.
been teasing Alyssa for years on Glee Booth. They're like, we should just do a random episode on that. So now we're gonna do it maybe
Yeah,
next year.
maybe. Uh, so so they flee, and eventually the angel is like, "Come back, but watch out for Herod's son." And so they move to Nazareth in Galilee. So that's how we get Jesus to his origin point. Um, Now the Gospel of Luke,
Because
uh,
this gospel,
is
it's focused
Matthew.
just on Joseph getting
Yes,
his thing.
visions.
Yes.
There
And then
was,
we get
yeah,
Harry.
there
yeah,
was talk. Oh, this is Joseph's version of events, but people are like,
right.
this was written long after he would have been dead.
Yeah.
And the Gospels. We'll get into like the historical narrative lightly because there's a lot that you can really get into.
Yeah.
And this is very lore heavy.
Mhm.
uh, but the Gospel of Matthew was written for a more Jewish audience, so people would be more
Mm,
familiar with these prophecies.
gotcha.
Um, at least according to tradition, you never quite know. There's ideas where I'm like, where did I get that idea? Like, I'm like, let me go find the source, because
Yeah.
but the Gospel of Luke uh, opens with the priest Zechariah serving in the temple, learning that his wife Elizabeth, who was advanced in years, was getting pregnant from an angel. And he's like, how's that? She's too old. And he's like, I'm the angel Gabriel who stands in the presence of God. Shut the fuck up.
Yeah.
Like,
Literally.
yeah, like
Literally.
you cannot talk until
Hmm.
you're proven your faith. And Elizabeth finds out she's pregnant. She's like, lit, no more shame for me because people blame me for being barren. Uh, 6 months after this, Gabriel comes to Mary in Nazareth. And we're gonna do our Bible study. I'm gonna read the passage. The Gospel of the Lord according to Luke.
Okay, yes, that's
Yeah,
exactly what you're supposed to do.
yeah. In the 6th month, this angel Gabriel was sent from God to a city of Galilee named Nazareth to a virgin betrothed to a man whose name was Joseph of the house of David, and the virgin's name was Mary. And he came to her and said, Hail, full of grace, the Lord is with you. But she was greatly troubled at the saying, and considered in her mind what sort of greeting this might be. And the angel said to her, Do not be afraid, Mary, for you have found favor with God. And behold, you will conceive in your womb and bear a son, and you shall call his name Jesus. He will be great, and he will be called the Son of the Most High, and the Lord God will give to him the throne of his father David, and he will reign over the house of Jacob forever, and his kingdom there will be no end. And Mary said to the angel, How can this be, since I have no husband? And the angel said to her, The Holy Spirit will come upon you, and the power of the Most High will overshadow you. Therefore, the child to be born will be called Holy, the Son of God. And behold, your kinswoman Elizabeth, in her old age, has also conceived a son, and this is the 6th month for her who is called barren. For which God, for with God nothing will be impossible. And Mary said, Behold, I am the handmaiden of the Lord. Let it be done unto me according to your word. And the angel departed from her. So very key. She says yes.
Hmm.
And when to the Mary do you know people, this is what she knew. She was told. Uh,
She knew. She been
yeah,
knew.
she been knew. And I love how when she has a question, the angel's like, okay, valid, this is how that's happening. But when Zechariah has a question, he's like, no, shut the fuck up. Like,
Yeah. Right,
he's like,
because like this is going to be happening to this girl, you know.
yeah,
So it's like, you know what? Valid for her to ask. I
yeah,
can answer this question.
Right.
yeah,
Maybe he just like her he didn't like Zachariah's tone.
yeah.
Yeah.
Could
Like, I
be
don't
Because
know
it.
about
Zachariah is
the tone.
literally like, my wife's old as shit. What do you mean? And literally Gabriel's like, shut the fuck up, first of
Yeah.
all.
I stand in the presence of God and you're going to talk to me that way.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
And Mary's just like, how am I going to get pregnant? And he's like, okay, well, that is
Valid
Good,
valid
question.
valid
question.
question. Good
Yeah.
point.
Yeah.
Let me get
Uh,
to that.
Yeah.
yeah, that was my next point.
Also, during this, I am thinking about how like biblically accurate angel art on like the internet
Yeah.
is. I'm picturing one of those.
Yeah. Well, that's be not
Another,
afraid.
yeah,
You know,
because it has 1,000 eyes.
Yeah.
I saw a meme refuting that that was like, come on, Ezekiel is only one book.
Uh, so she went to see Elizabeth because she's excited. She goes in haste and is like, and Elizabeth is like, "Oh, the baby in my womb left. Blessed are you among women." And Mary sings a song about it, or she does a poem, and she says that all generations shall call her blessed, and that God cast on the rich and exalted the poor. So, if we ever have questions about whose team God is on, we heard this from his mom. So Elizabeth has John, her son, and she's like, his name is John, but no one wants to listen to her. And they're like, well, you got to name him after his dad. And eventually Zechariah writes down, no, name him John, as the angel said. And then, boom, he could speak because he had finally believed. Um, Meanwhile, Emperor Augustus, who will come up later, calls a census and they have to go to Bethlehem. There's no room at the inn, so they have to go to a manger. And in the stable, he's born and laid in swaddling clothes. And as Linus says in Charlie Brown, um, and angels find shepherds in the fields and they sing Glory to God in the highest. They drop a new, fresh track and are like, Angel, like, go to Bethlehem, you'll find him there. And the shepherds go and they find him in the manger. And they worship him. Shepherds famously poor people. That's something I want to talk about.
But do they have dreadlocks though?
Maybe,
Mm, yeah,
I wasn't there.
true. You weren't?
Spoilers for the movie.
Spoilers for the movie. He was circumcised later and presented in the temple. Simeon prophesies. He's like, I can die happy. This kid's gonna change everything. Also, Mary, your heart's gonna be pierced with a sword to the reveal the hearts of many BT dubs. Like,
Mm.
and then this old lady named Anna is like, hell yeah, Jesus. And then they go back to Nazareth, and that's Luke's version of events. And Luke, because he wrote the most about Mary, and
Yeah.
he often references that Mary kept these things in her heart, he's said to have painted the first picture of Mary. So he's a patron saint of painters. And you can
Mhm.
see that painting. I saw that painting in the Pantheon in Rome.
Is it
Ooh.
good?
Yeah,
Is it a good painting?
it's a decent one. Probably not my favorite, but I was
Mm.
excited. I was like trying to explain to the people on my trip, like, oh my gosh, this painting. And people were like, okay. And my hot take though about the Pantheon is they have to keep saying mass there, or like the Roman gods will come back out. Like Zeus and Jupiter is
Oh,
gonna like,
it's like K-pop demon hunters.
yeah,
The Zeus and stuff are like underneath. They're like, oh,
yeah,
I really want to come out, but they have to keep doing mass to,
yeah,
create the honeymoon there. Got it.
I want
yes,
you guys to write that movie.
Okay.
yeah.
Like in the style of K-pop Demon
It's
Hunters,
a
but
yeah.
Absolutely.
Is it
Sure.
like monks that are a boy band?
I love that. Yeah.
Yeah,
they
Oh my
start with
God.
just the Gregorian chants, but then they're like, we got to switch this up.
yeah,
They get a beatboxer.
yeah.
Uh,
Amazing. It could be a Christmas movie too. Why not?
why
Hot.
not?
As Hilary Duff would say,
Famously.
famously. So obviously these are two very different stories. There's some historical inaccuracies, like the timeline of Augustus and Quirinius and Herod and what positions they're supposed to be in doesn't quite match. And the Gospels, and there's no corroborating records for some of these events, like the massacre of innocents, which someone said, well, that would have been like 12 people based on the population of Bethlehem. I don't know. The Gospels were written after Jesus. They're many years, often by people who weren't there for the events. But I think tradition is kind of like, oh, well, the person who we're referencing, John or Luke, whoever, would tell this, and that was slowly transcribed. Uh, the stories are often, these stories specifically of the Gospels are thought to be more theological than historical, because that's also not how census works. And I'm going to link two articles below. Um, one being like, these things don't line up, and that's okay. And then someone else being like, actually, these are how these can be turned into one cohesive narrative.
I
Oh.
I I have a thought. You know how like I'm trying to think like the newer Star Wars movies do this a lot where people say like, "Oh, it was retconned." Right?
Yeah,
That probably sounds blasphemous, but it's like, okay, we need to like hit all these points for Jesus to be the Messiah. Like he has to be born in Bethlehem, okay? He has to be
yeah,
the line of David, okay? He has to be like born in poverty, okay?
yeah,
But he's also supposed to be called a Nazarene. But so
yeah,
he grew up in Nazareth, and then the
Yep.
king visit him, but they weren't really kings. Like it's like you're hitting all these points, and I'm like, and again, it's not that I don't want to trash any of
yeah,
his beliefs. He was clearly a real person who lived, but it's like I feel like we're like going backward and it's like, oh, and this is how this fit. It's like the prequels, like it's
yeah,
Yeah.
I keep making Star Wars references. I'm so sorry. But yeah, it's like, okay, so you had to hit all these points, and it's like, okay, it's a little bit convoluted of like
yes.
Yeah.
he's here and then he's here and they had to move here and then okay. It,
Yeah, no,
it's a
yeah,
lot.
100%. Like,
Yeah.
and again, like there are a lot of believers who would say that the point of these stories is to be more theological than accurate descriptions of events. But as we all know, there have been a lot of people who are very much everything in the Bible, word for word,
Yes.
true.
I
Um,
once had an argument with someone at my church when I was not young. I was like a teenager, but she was convinced she was like Jesus was born on December 25th. And I'm like, "Well, no, probably not. Like we can't know what day it
Right.
was. All that matters is that we celebrate it, right?" And she was like, "No, absolutely not. Like it's sinful of you to think otherwise. He was born on
yeah,
December 25th." And it's like, "Okay.
yeah,
I don't know what to tell you, girl. I don't
yeah.
know."
Definitely in a calendar that we observed that they did not have back then.
Yes, I was going to say they didn't even have the same calendar.
Mm-mm.
Yeah.
Yep, no. So,
Uh,
but that's just how it has to be, I guess.
I
Very
guess.
specific.
Uh, the timeline given by Catholic.com, um, because also I was trying to find, it is very hard when you start looking up things about the Nativity to find like a source that isn't like Reddit atheists or like Christian propaganda. Like it's like two options. I'm like, I just need like a academic source who's trying to give me the best that we have, and I'll accept we don't know as an answer, but like uh, so the timeline that is kind of touted, I guess, as like the canon timeline is that Joseph and Mary live as a betrothed couple in Nazareth. Gabriel shows up, travel to Bethlehem, where Mary gives birth to Jesus. And they're like, I think Luke just messed up with the census. He just didn't write that down correctly. He got confused.
He's like,
Mistakes
I don't know what a
happen.
census is. I think it's this.
Yeah, everyone's like, that's not how those worked. Uh, Jesus is circumcised and presented in the temple. That's where we get Simeon and Anna being like, hell yeah. Also, Mary, you're going to be traumatized, but that'll help you understand people's hearts. The Holy Family then moves, they live in Bethlehem through one of Joseph's relatives in order to be near Jerusalem and make a more permanent dwelling. Sometime after the birth of Jesus, possibly as long as 2 years later, the Magi visit Herod and then the Holy Family. Um, then the Magi leave, do not report back to Herod. Herod slaughters the young male children of Bethlehem, and Joseph and the family flees ahead of time. So he's 2 by now. Joseph returns to Egypt after the death of Herod, chooses to live in Nazareth rather than Bethlehem to avoid Herod's brother or son. Uh, So, since Matthew did not describe the initial journey to Bethlehem, he informs the reader about Joseph's decision to move to a city called Nazareth. That does not mean Joseph never lived in Nazareth. Uh, so that's the canon, I guess, timeline. Um,
It's like Hannah, you were in Ohio, and then you were in
yeah,
Florida, and then you were
Literally,
in Indiana, and then you came back to Ohio.
yeah.
It's
Don't forget, I was in Massachusetts too. That's where I met Cullen.
oh,
yeah,
that's right.
Grad
I did
school.
forget about
So
that.
you
Yeah,
know
yeah,
what?
yeah.
You know what? Maybe I am believing that this could happen, all this bouncing around, because I did that,
yeah.
just like Jesus.
Florida's your flight into Egypt, a land of
Uh,
subjugation. Yeah. Uh,
Ohio? Yeah.
Yeah. So Matthew, again, writing for a more Jewish audience, Luke, a more pagan audience. People will say virgin birth was really common in pagan literature, and it's not really as common as people say, at least definitely not in the way it's presented in Christianity. Um, like it's very common for women to have a sexual relationship with the deity. Maybe he's a shower of gold, maybe he's a swan,
Right.
that's very so like a demigod, yes, but like a
Right.
virgin birth, like that less common.
Right.
I'm not
Without all the
gonna,
icky sex stuff.
yeah,
Yeah.
like I'm not gonna get out here and say that has never happened, but honestly, there's like not really any stories I can super think of.
Hmm.
Um, but obviously my knowledge is limited, so I'm sure there are some, but it's again, people say that was super common. Not necessarily.
Hmm.
Augustus himself, same birthday as me, but he considered himself a son of Apollo. And he was already the adopted son of Julius Caesar, who claimed to be descended from Venus via Aeneas. Because Venus and
Mm.
Apollo were both Team Troy, so it kind of like lined up with like their Trojan War
Hmm.
stuff. And so, Augustus also claimed to be a son of a god, Apollo.
Meanwhile, his
And
real dad was like, "What am I? Chopped liver?"
yeah, it's like
Hmm.
not Apollo, baby. And that's why Venus takes on a very different aspect in like Roman culture because she was like the mother of the royal house. Let's talk about nativity plays. We were almost there. I know so much lore. So there is a cave in Bethlehem where Jesus is considered to be born. Behind me in this
And
picture,
you're right here.
I'm right here. At one point, it was a shrine to Adonis, a deity whose name means Lord. He was a lover of Aphrodite who would die, and people would mourn for him. But people were like, they just put that there to distract from Jesus being there. So Saint Helena, the mother of Emperor Constantine, who made Christianity legal, um, she had the Church of the Nativity built, and it changed ownership several times, but it's strangely a testament to Christians and Muslims working together to preserve it, even during the Crusades. I'm simplifying a lot of history because then we could spend another like 9 hours about it. But they would like make agreements to be like, okay, we'll take care of this, as long as like Muslim people can still access it. Like it was something people were willing to collaborate on. Um, Later, not so much. There was fighting involving like the Ottomans and Catholic France and Orthodox Russia trying to decide who had control over these sites. So that caused conflict, including the Latin Silver Star being removed by Greek Orthodox clergy. And so that's why you'll hear a lot of stories about like a stolen Christmas star, because it did actually happen. And they're also like a church where the manger is and a church where the cave is and who gets to own what. So right now, the Franciscan Catholic Order, Armenian Apostolic Church, and Greek Orthodox Church share monastery and church ownership, with minor Coptic Orthodox, Ethiopian, Tewahedo Orthodox, and Syriac Orthodox access. Um, it was controversially and secretly made a UNESCO World Heritage Site in 2012 because of
Secretly.
because of opposition from the United States and Israel.
That
So,
sounds right.
who's waging the real war on Christmas? We ask again.
Hmm.
Uh, so because in 2020, 2002, it was besieged by the IDF, because the Christians inside were giving sanctuary to pro-Palestine fighters, and the IDF said no, they're being held hostage, and were besieging the church. So that led eventually to its 2012 being declared a heritage site. The last 2 years, Christmas was canceled at Bethlehem. They did not have their traditional celebrations. They're bringing them back this year, but there is still a somber tone, due to all the death and suffering in the West Bank, where this church is located. Um, so again, who's launching the real war on Christmas? On December 24th in 1223 in Greccio, Italy, St. Francis of Assisi, a monk, you see him holding birds a lot. He held mass with a live nativity play with animals, starting the nativity tradition.
I'm sure that went well.
I
Sure,
mean,
it stunk.
I'm sure. I mean, it was the Middle Ages. Everything stunk.
You know what? It probably just was like, ew, what's that smell?
Yeah.
Smells
It-
different today.
yeah. Is that
Not
Jeff or
quite
the
the
sheep? Yeah.
Jeffrey the sheep.
So this started the trend of live nativities and nativity sets, or creche scenes, which have Mary Joseph, animals, typically shepherds, angels. Later, the Magi and camels just appear as the holidays of Epiphany and Christmas get combined for the convenience of capitalism.
I feel like that's part of why people like in some movies it's depicted where it's like, okay, Jesus is a toddler by the time the Magi get there, which makes sense. It took them forever to travel, but like in the nativity set, they're all right there, you
Yeah.
know? So it's like, oh, it happened the same day.
Yeah. It's more cinematic to all be at once.
Absolutely.
The donkey and ox are most commonly depicted, especially the ox
Hmm.
breathing life. And then the donkey is special place. That was my role in the Christmas pageant. My lines
Mm.
were hee haw, hee haw. Um,
Well, you're looking at a Mary, so
oh,
a former
wow.
Mary.
A-lister, yeah.
And a guy that we went to church with. So I've known this man since I was a kid. He was in my dad's wedding. But I remember that he was the donkey, and me being a chubby kid, I rode on his back as he, crawled down
Oh.
yeah, and I remember that. Uh, yeah, this is like a very key memory I have, and it was also in like the old church before we went to like the new building. So yeah, that's what I remember about being Mary is
That's a really cute.
the
I hope someone has a
yeah.
photo of that
I
because
actually wonder if they do. I'll
Yeah.
have to check it out. So yeah.
Yeah, so nativity pageants, nativity plays, very common. It's a classic tradition. There's a Charlie Brown special about it.
Hmm.
Um, but there were several lawsuits about nativities in public land in the US.
Oh
oh yeah.
yeah.
Oh,
So
here
the
we go.
idea of them existing in public spaces, I started down a rabbit hole, but we are in so many rabbit holes today, and our current Supreme Court is very much changing the way that the US looks at religious displays. Like there was a precedent set by Sandra Day O'Connor in the 80s,
Mm.
that was kind of like, is it promoting religion or just kind of acknowledging its role? Like there was kind of like a test, and now they're shifting from that into something that seems more nebulous, but I really could not we're already have not even gotten to the movie yet. So I was like, the US loves to lawsuit about things. And controversial displays of the Nativity acknowledging Mary and Joseph as poor people, refugees, or immigrants, even including one where baby Jesus has been detained by ICE.
Saw that.
Um,
I saw that.
and there is always conservative backlash to acknowledging the place of Mary and Joseph in their hierarchy of the time as poor people, and marginalized people who had to flee government oppression. Um, So this is, where I just want to say Christmas is a season of love and giving to peace of all peoples of goodwill, as the angels sing in their banger. Um, all people of goodwill, all people who want peace and prosperity and safety for others. So, I took part in my local like toy drive, donated toys, but also a great place to donate that I've donated before is the Coalition for Humane Immigrant Rights, CHIRLA. We'll put the link. Founded by Father Luis Olivares, the pastor of Our Lady Queen of Angels Church, a leading voice in the sanctuary movement, used the church to protect refugees fleeing human rights abuses in Central America in the 1980s. Um, a lot of people are going through a lot of stuff right now, and many people I know have been helped by Churla to get legal representation to help them have safety and stability. So, whether you believe in God, the universe, many gods, anything, show that love to those who need it in this difficult time, where those in power are seeking to hurt the poorest and most, not like people who can't defend themselves and abusing them. And if you can't afford to give, I know not everyone can, show kindness to those in your life, whether just everyone in your life, share the love, live that love in your life. And if you believe in prayer or manifesting or anything, pray for all those suffering, whether they're immigrants, the unhoused, all the marginalized communities, the people in Gaza. There's so many people suffering in the world right now. And I think Christmas is a great time to think about, uh, you know, God, when God came to us, he came to us as a little baby, a poor child. And how many poor children across the world, have to suffer and die from starvation or war, and all this is so preventable. So donate, pray, show kindness, and hold the people in power who encourage this terrible behavior accountable.
Well
Amen.
said. Yeah.
Yeah, and that's how Cullen sees it.
Well done. Yeah.
So now let's get into this. Speaking of Glee, let's talk about this Glee made movie. I know that's our longest lore dump in a while, I
Yeah.
might say.
Potentially ever, honestly. But I mean, it's heavy stuff. It's big
Yeah,
stuff they got to talk about.
because it
Um,
keeps coming up, so I'm like, let's tackle this now. And I don't want to say never, but I mean, what other nativity movie are we going to talk about?
yeah. I mean, this is honestly the nativity movie for us.
Glee,
Yes.
High School
So,
Musical, Milo Manheim.
zombies,
Yeah,
yep, and it's on
yeah,
Hulu,
Gosh.
so, it's honestly like it checks all the boxes, except
yeah.
for it being a good movie. But yeah, let's get into this.
Yeah, I did watch it with my brother. There's good bad, he said, and there's bad bad. About 10 minutes in, he's like, it's bad bad.
Yeah.
So,
And I'll kind of like also I just want to give a quick shout out. Katie's brother Scott is the composer of the Not My Fantasy theme song. So,
Yes.
big shout out to him. So again, you guys are friends of the pod,
Yeah,
very much
integral.
so.
Yeah.
Yeah.
oh my gosh.
So yeah, I told Cullen that I was like, I am kind of disappointed that it wasn't worse because I see that there's a lot of potential here. And I say weirdly because like this movie is very strange and we'll talk about the tone and stuff. But like there is like a potential here. And I do think that this story, much like the story of Moses, specifically as it was told in The Prince of Egypt, there is something really interesting about these, and I'm going to call them characters because they are characters in this movie. We're not referring to the actual, Mary and Joseph, etc. Um, there's like something here that they're playing with that is interesting, but I wanted it to either be good or to be so bad. But it's kind of like, oh, it's like you're actually
Yeah.
close to being good-ish.
Yeah, it's like
And
a
it,
weird in between.
But
yeah,
it's very watchable.
sh- yeah,
Because
I would
there's
say with a group, I really
yeah.
wish I had a group.
Yeah, I feel like it's not it like kind of it's steady pace. It does not feel slow. Like it just kind of it goes through, it ends, and it feels kind of young, but it doesn't feel like, oh, this is arduous. Like I keep checking the
Right.
time. You're
There's
just
it's
kind of
only,
like,
I think, 95 minutes
Yeah,
ish. Yeah.
yeah.
we love a
So
90-minute movie.
We
yeah.
love I all these directors, Christopher Nolan, stop. Who do you think you are? Oppenheimer could have been shorter. Like, come on.
Yeah.
Yeah.
90
Yeah.
People have other
the
stuff
goal.
to do.
Yeah. Uh,
But anyway.
Anyway.
so we open with the three kings. They're kings in this version, with different skills. There's a map maker and a astrologer. Um, those are the two main ones, skills. And the map maker likes to eat.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah, that's his character. That's literally the only characteristic he has
he
besides his
makes
skill.
maps, yeah, and he eats. So they're looking at the star and they're like, it's
And
coming.
we have a monologue. We have a VO monologue happening to intro this is a bookend story.
Yeah.
And we find out that it is Mary telling the story.
Yes.
It's very Disney princess of her.
Yes.
This is very Disney Princess Mary.
But this is kind of owned by Disney,
Yeah.
right?
Oh
Is
yeah, it was
Mary
on
now a
Disney
Disney
Plus.
princess?
Princess.
No, I'm a believer that there's 13 canonical Disney princesses.
Who who
I've,
are who are patron saints in their own right.
I
they
want that
absolutely do.
quiz, Cullen. I want that quiz. I want to know who's my patron saint Disney princess. I
We
want to know.
gotta do
We
that
we could work
quiz.
on that, yeah.
Yeah. Um, yeah, but yes, she is very like 90s Disney princess coded in this.
Mhm.
So the kings are like, it's time. The Messiah is coming. And their servant Bestie is like, time to sing Come on, come Emmanuel.
It's
She
in the public
drops,
domain, so
yeah,
sing
Yep.
it.
and she drops a new banger. She invents that song right there.
Yep.
And then we get into like a medley of that and Come All We Faithful,
Mhm.
as they hop on their camels and set off to Bethlehem, where in Nazareth we meet Mary. She wants to follow her dreams and teach the scriptures because her father taught her the scriptures. But instead, her parents are like, you got to get married.
Yeah, she
This
wants to be
is,
a teacher,
and they're like, this is the patriarchy. Like,
which is crazy because in our world, teacher is like the most like woman job. Like we have that
yeah,
gendered assigned to it so often. And so it is kind of interesting that it's like she can't even be a teacher.
just a
That's how
wife.
that's how old this
Yeah.
culture is, you know.
It is. At one point I'm like, she's running around with her head uncovered, and then I'm like, you know what? This is
We're
not the movie to think about that.
we're beyond. Greg was
Yeah,
still watching at this point, and he's like, they don't have running water. Their makeup would not look that good.
they wouldn't have makeup,
They
you
wouldn't.
know,
Yeah,
Oh, I
or
don't know though. They
yeah,
probably would,
right.
but people did.
Right.
Like, yeah.
Yeah, they
Uh,
probably would. But
yeah. Um, but they're like, he's like, well, I wanted a son and I didn't have one, so I taught you the scriptures. And she's like, Dad, I thought you saw more in me. And she runs off. People were describing her as very like rebellious and I guess feminist. And I was like, you could
barely.
even, I feel like you could watch this movie as an Immaculate Conception, ride or die, and be like, there's nothing that she does that you could argue is super sinful. She
No.
like has appropriately annoyed reactions to frustrating things. So I guess to some, maybe if you're anything other than like sweet,
Oh
compliant,
yeah, the keep
and
sweet stuff.
keep sweet. Yep.
yeah, like that, okay, you're sinful. But like, I'm like, she's not
She's a
unreal
she's like a
teenager.
teenager.
Yeah,
This
Yeah,
is literally like Jasmine,
yeah.
you know, like it's
yeah,
giving the same energy.
Yeah, and she's not like, I
because
want to run drugs.
yeah,
She's like,
and
I
the
want
thing
to teach the Bible.
yeah,
Yeah.
and the thing is, she does agree to it. Like, she's not
Yeah,
happy about it, but she's like, okay, as you
yeah,
wish.
Yep.
yeah. I'm a
Yep.
girl in the patriarchy. Like, what else am I gonna do? But
Who are the two girls with her? Is she supposed to have
her
sisters or just
sisters.
Yeah, I
okay?
think
So
they're
she
her
does have.
sisters.
Does she
Yeah,
have sisters in the Bible?
I think sometimes
In
yes.
the
I
Apocrypha?
think
Okay,
in that apocryphal James she does.
she does. Okay,
Yeah,
okay. I was confused. I was like, are they sisters or
Yeah.
are they friends? I was like, they have veils on. Are they already married? No, they
yeah.
wouldn't. Yeah,
Oh, right.
I
Yeah.
I
definitely see Nikki Anders pulling out the apocryphal Gospel of James and being like, "What can we use?"
What can we? Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah. So I just love imagining that. So we get the opening, not our opening number, but our first like musical number.
Hmm.
women be
Because there's
shopping.
women be shopping. Yeah, because
Yeah,
there's a mix of, like we said, the kind of like the public domain, religious, tied to Christmas songs,
yeah,
and then also their original songs. It's
yeah.
interesting.
And we get Mary's getting married. It's like a stomp number in the town. These musicals love a town stomp number. It's like Rhythm Nation and the Camila Cabello Cinderella.
Yes,
But this song gets stuck in my head. This is kind of a bop.
it
Uh,
did.
yeah, I mean, I'm not like, wow, 10 out of 10. I'm like,
Can't
you
even
know,
conjure the melody.
yeah. Oh, it gets stuck in my head. It's stuck in my head right now.
That's wild.
As they're like, Mary, Mary, getting married is a good, Mary, Mary, Mary is the thing to do. That's very, 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 very good for you. Amazing
Yeah.
lyrics.
They also did the Mary quite contrary thing. I was like,
Yeah.
oh
Yes.
boy. Another
Which,
public domain, probably. Just
yeah, another reference to Mary Queen of Scots. My girl, Saoirse Ronan mentioned. Yeah. But they're it's like you're gonna be married and you're gonna love it. She's like, I don't want to be married. I thought there was more for me, but okay. And like you're at least you'll be pretty. Uh
yeah, at least you'll look cute in your wedding dress.
yeah. It does
Say yes to the
Yeah.
dress.
say yes to the dress. It gives a little bit of it reminds me of Matchmaker in Fiddler on the Roof.
Yes.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Yeah. Where it's like, hey, we're romanticizing this thing that we all kind of have anxiety about.
Yeah.
Um,
A nice man, a good man. True.
yeah,
True.
true. I could just start doing all those lyrics. I like literally having to stop myself. But she runs into a hottie at the market and he's flirting with her. Like, what fruit do you choose?
And
I'll
she's
buy you
not
a
having it.
fruit. She's
She's
like, I'm
not having it.
betrothed. And he's like, so I can get you a fruit. I can chat with you. And she's like, away. But she's like charmed by him because he's Milo Manheim.
Duh.
So she's like, "Ah, you're annoying, but and then
It's a meet cute.
it's a meet
It's
cute.
a meet cute. I wrote in my notes, oh no, a meet cute.
That's so funny. I said, shut up. It's a meet cute with her betrothed and she doesn't even know.
Yeah,
I
very
was
Sleeping
genuine.
Beauty of
I
her.
was,
Yeah.
I honestly was very like, oh, okay. They're gonna try to make arranged marriage, I guess less scary,
Yeah.
essentially, right?
This
Because
Yeah.
is
it's a scary prospect in general, but like, yeah,
their love story is one of the main storylines. It's kind of
absolutely.
like the story of like her faith and her accepting of her role and the storyline of her and Joseph like being in love.
And
And Joseph being in love with her first and her learning to
yes, and I want to talk about that for 17 hours because I think it's so interesting, especially with the context of like the arranged marriage, but also in general, just like she's got a lot going on and she's like,
yeah.
I can't even think about romance, but like because he supports her, is that she like comes to love him in a way that's not just like romantic love.
Yeah.
And it's like that's actually that was one of those things of
Beautiful.
the movie. And then I'm
It
like,
was good.
that's
Yeah.
I'm like I was like, that's really interesting.
Yeah.
That's kind of deep. And I also think it's kind of an interesting take on the idea of like Joseph being weird about her being pregnant with God's
Joseph
baby.
being a cuck, as you said you were gonna say, and then you haven't
I
said it
wrote that in
yet.
my notes too.
Did I say that the cuck thing? Oh my God. Well, yeah, Joseph is a cuck. You know, he kind of is. But but yeah, there's something really interesting about that from a storytelling perspective. And that's why like in this movie, I'm like, I wish that was way worse because I'm like, that's one of the things that I'm like, ooh, I'm latching onto it. And as a writer, I'm like, okay, but how can we make this better?
Yeah.
Because I think in general, a movie about Mary and Joseph going through this experience is kind of an interesting idea, especially from a contemporary lens.
Yeah, and portraying them as kind of like YA, like young people, like very like Disney coded, like I have my dreams, and this is very like almost a. I'm not. I didn't think this until we're talking about it now, but it is like in some ways it's a very like Disney princess interpretation of the
Yeah.
Nativity, meeting combined with this very mature romance between Mary and
A,
Joseph,
a very mature and mature, not in the sense of like mature sexual, it's like mature, like
emotionally mature.
Yeah.
Yeah,
relationship stuff.
Yeah.
yeah,
Well,
Yeah.
because like he rises to the challenge in a way she didn't expect. Like
Mhm.
yeah,
he ends up pursuing her after he learns she's pregnant, and his parents are like,
Yeah.
bad news.
yeah,
And like, who would like what kind of man would want to raise somebody else's kid? And he's like, no, I do. Like
yeah.
he believes it. Like it's like, oh, so he does. He wins her over by his actions and not so much in the beginning he's trying to be all charming and like
Yeah.
really I'm sorry, I
Yeah.
wasn't just charmed by it. Like it's really
Oh my
silly.
gosh.
But then once he's actually like I can protect you and like we can raise this
Hmm.
baby and like this is what, like that's the part where it's like, oh,
Mhm.
yeah.
Like
It's
she
it's
sees
good.
that he has a good heart and that
And
Yes.
like he's
Yes.
willing to stand up for her. Yeah.
Exactly.
and I
Yeah.
like what you mentioned, like it's really focused on his actions because they start off very rocky, right?
Hmm.
Because so after they have their meet cute, they end up what her dad is like throwing a party.
Yeah, it's like the
An engagement
betrothal.
party. Yeah,
Yeah.
Yeah, an engagement party. I was like, oh, that's interesting. Um, and uh she obviously like finds out that it's him
And she's
and
pissed.
she's like and I was like I thought it was gonna be like a cutesy thing.
Yeah.
She's like she made an excellent point that I just didn't think of because I was like, oh my God, Milo Manheim, he's so cute. I love him.
Yeah.
Um, but she was like, you were betrothed. You knew I was betrothed, yet you were flirting with me. She goes, that's not the sign of like a good husband. And I
mm,
was like, oh shit, she's right. Like that's a valid. And now she's like, can I trust this person that I'm forced to marry?
Yeah.
And then
'Cause-
God's like,
yeah.
hey, I'm gonna put a baby in you.
Yeah. Now, I do want to say that both this film and the Christian film reviews that I read did act like this flirtation was so incredibly scandalous. When I'm like, it was flirty, but like it was like he's gonna buy her a fruit. I
There
know
was no
we're
innuendo.
yeah, I
I
know
did
this is
not
an
read it
olden
in.
day, but like
Yeah. No, it's like
He
very much
wasn't like,
like
can I squeeze your melons? Like
yeah.
he literally was
ew.
like juggling fruit
Yeah.
and he was just like talking about he's like, oh, I'll buy you a fruit. It like there wasn't any innuendo. And so it's like
Yeah. So it's like I think it was an interesting route that they took and but it was like everyone's acting like even film reviewers being like, "Oh my gosh," and they had Joseph flirting with her. And I'm like, "What was this flirt? Like
Yeah,
Aladdin's
barely.
steamier, you know, like
yeah.
Yeah, it is. No.
Yeah.
he's got his nipples out." Yeah.
And his midriff.
Yeah, that too. Oh my gosh. No, it's yeah. It's funny because it's almost it's very we mentioned Disney princesses, it's Sleeping Beauty where it's like the dramatic irony of like, oh, they're
Yeah.
engaged to each other and then they both
Yeah.
get upset because they're like, oh, but I like this person I met, but then it ends up
Yeah.
being them. Like all
Yeah.
that.
Yeah.
But it's like in this case, it's like, hey, wait a minute.
She
You were
yes.
acting out of
Yeah.
line. Yeah.
And
You were,
and I
yeah.
and it's such like I think it also points to like um maybe not Mary's like her sort of immaculate conception holiness, but just that she is a faithful woman. And
Yeah.
like that's like I think this movie does a good job with actually making that clear without it being super obvious. Because like they mentioned her about being very dedicated to scriptures and prayer and
Hmm.
she obviously is a faithful woman, but like this I think is a really interesting way to present that she's like, I know what marriage is supposed to be,
Yeah. I'm standing
Yeah.
on business, as they say.
Yes,
Yeah. It's not clocking to
famously
you that I'm standing on
in a
business.
business.
And
Yeah.
that's where we get the song Can We Make This Work? Which
Yes.
is, yeah.
Which includes a Dutch angle, and I was screaming. I'm like, they're including a Dutch angle with the water wheel. Like, oh my
Yeah.
Yep, I noticed that too. The cinematography was and the camera work was interesting in this movie. There's a lot going on in this movie. But
Yeah.
yes, this song very much like, okay, like, are we gonna do this kind of thing? And it seems like they're like, okay, I guess we kind of have to.
Yeah.
Because he's like, I'm not happy about being betrothed either. Like, he
Yeah.
clearly had dreams. He's an inventor.
like Belle's dad.
Yes. Like Belle's
Yes.
dad, like because I'm like, he's a carpenter. That's like famous
Maybe
fact.
that's his
Yeah.
family trade,
But he's an
but he
inventor.
wants to be an inventor.
He's the inventor of the cuckoo clock. Yeah.
He wants to be a member of the Robinsons family. Meet the Robinsons.
I was
Yes.
hoping that would come up again. They were gonna have like a really
Same.
silly moment where he like made some gadget, but then that didn't really. He like made
Yeah.
for that chair, that makeshift chair in the desert, but he
Oh
doesn't
Oh,
really
yeah.
like
right.
invent anything. And I'm like, oh, I thought that was gonna come up again in a really
Because
corny way.
otherwise it's pointless.
I guess
Yes,
it's just
it
to give
is.
him a dream. I'm like, maybe it could just be that he wanted to be in love, but I
I
don't
know,
know.
because that's
Yeah.
what she wanted. She's like, I at least want to be like married to someone I even know, like someone
Yeah.
from the village,
Right.
Because he's
You're a
new.
stranger.
Yeah.
Because yeah, they just moved from Bethlehem to Nazareth, right?
Yeah. So, uh, this is also when my husband was like, "Oh, he's hot." I'm like,
Yeah.
"Yeah." Um,
And Katie, you do have to understand, we are coming at this movie after having watched all four zombies movies on Disney. So, we're
we're
very much
Milanators,
we
yeah.
we
Yeah.
are entrenched in the Milo Manheim dreamscape.
Which is what
I
made me be like, let's do
yeah.
this. Yeah.
Confession to make, I listened to about half that episode and I was like, I've never seen the zombies movies and I probably never will, so I think I'm
Yep,
gonna leave it.
valid,
But maybe you should change that and see the zombies movies
Maybe.
because they're a
Maybe.
time.
They really are.
Uh, so also Mary has a donkey sidekick named Fig. She even has an animal
Love.
friend, like a Disney
Yeah, like
princess.
a Disney
I'm
A
s-
princess.
grumpy
I'm
donkey. Yeah.
I'm
And it has
sorry,
to be
but an ass if you will, and I will.
Yeah.
Um, I'm gonna keep saying it. Mary is the new Disney princess. Like, I'm sorry if
Yeah.
that's blasphemy, but like, I'm not saying Mary, like actual like Mother of God, Mary. I'm saying this character,
Journey to Bethlehem Mary.
Journey to
Yeah.
Bethlehem Mary, is the new Disney princess. I
Yeah.
want her in Barbie form. Okay.
In a box set with Snow White. Yeah.
Yep. I
There
want
you
her
go.
costume for Halloween.
The
I want
orange dress. Yeah.
and I want her little sidekick Fig.
Mhm.
Yep, yep, yep.
Uh,
Throw in a tiny baby Jesus too if you want. That's fine.
yeah.
It can be like the Barbie, like
The
the one they
pregnant
had in the movie
Barbie.
that was pregnant that you could take the baby out.
Yes.
Yeah.
See. Mattel, get on it.
Get on it.
So King Herod, Antonio Banderas, he's busy, having a busy day parading around the city, threatening people, singing "It's Good to Be King."
And wearing eyeliner.
Yeah,
Guyliner.
Too much
What
eyeliner.
Scott said. Guyliner.
Kyle.
Eyeliner.
Yeah, that's what he does. His son Antipater is like, we got to do a census with Rome, and he's like, whatever. Like, I don't care about Rome. I care about marching around, singing the song, and everyone screams at me, and I make people kiss the ring because I can do it because I'm the king. Uh, Ending with the extended edition of the Our Father,
I
mine
was
is the
gonna
kingdom, the
say,
power and glory.
yes.
Yes.
But he's saying mine is the kingdom, not thine is
Yes.
the kingdom. So
Yes.
I did like that. I'm like, they're calling
It's
it back.
it's
Yeah.
kind of it's like a weird, clever musical thing. It's
Yeah.
those things that I'm like, what are you doing? Doing something interesting and clever. And then the rest of this movie is like, my note about this number was it's giving Muse. It's giving the
Oh.
band Muse.
Oh,
Yeah, a lot of the Herod, and then later his son number reminded me of when Chris Daughtry played Judas in Tyler Perry's The Passion of the Christ, and he sang, I think, an Imagine Dragons song.
I think
Hold
I need to
on.
watch this now.
You're dropping new information
We have
that
talked about Tyler Perry's The Passion and that Chris Daughtry was in
no,
it
no, we
Have we?
haven't.
on Glee Boot and here.
Oh.
Reboot was a lifetime
I
ago,
know.
and as was every other episode of this podcast. Whoa. Wait, am I shocked every time you bring it up?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah.
I love
Uh,
that about my brain.
that's what's going on there. Angel Gabriel shows up to Mary while she's asleep.
This
And
scene.
strange choices all around. They're like, what's a
Because
great for a comedy scene?
it starts
Gabriel,
with this beautiful angel showing up, and okay, he's like psyching himself up, and I'm like,
he's
okay,
nervous. It's like,
that's you're like number three
well,
in line of angels.
but
Yeah.
this is not the first time he's done this. Well, I guess they don't mention this in the movie, but he did the same thing with Elizabeth. It's like, was he that nervous?
Yeah.
Or is he nervous because it's Mary? It's like, oh my gosh.
Well,
Maybe just his performance
correct me if
anxiety.
I'm wrong, but Elizabeth, her conception isn't as like connected in this movie as it is in like the Bible,
Yeah.
right?
They don't
So
really dive into John the Baptist.
so
Yeah.
this
Yeah.
is apparently Gabriel's first day on the job. And then
Yeah.
he's like
Despite
starting
being
to
number
float.
two or three. He's one of the
Yeah,
three official canonical archangels, one of the only
yes.
two if you're Protestant.
Oh, really?
Really?
Michael, Gabriel,
Michael,
and
And
Gabriel,
the other
Raphael.
Raphael.
He's in the
Oh,
Catholic edition.
one of the
His
yeah.
Ninja
book was
Turtles,
cut.
right?
Yeah.
Yeah, the Ninja Turtles, yeah.
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 And then if you
That's
you
how the
get the
Protestants understand Raphael.
yeah,
He's the Ninja
he's a
Turtle, not
Ninja Turtle.
necessarily, we don't really give
Yeah.
him angel status.
Mm-mm.
Yeah.
But no, and then he like bumps his head on
Yeah.
the whatever it's called. And I was like, that's so weird. What are we doing?
This is a
Yeah.
weird choice. I actually feel like this should be a song, because I feel like Mary and Joseph get a lot of songs, and this is such a pivotal moment. And if we're in a musical, maybe this should be also a song.
It
And
should
maybe we
be.
don't need a
Valid.
song for Herod's son. I don't know.
Yeah. Well, he's
Yeah.
got the blue contacts in. It's very Dune. He's got the
Yes.
blue contacts. He's got the gold glitter. I loved his outfit. I loved the intro, like the sort of
Yeah.
like 3D or CGI like sparkles. But then it kind of yeah,
It
they
it
undermine that immediately by him bumping his head and
and it
nervous.
undermines um the pivotal nature of this moment, I think, is that like Gabriel's delivering some huge news and by like making there like be like hijinks,
Yeah,
Yeah. Like you
it's
sleep
like
so much, but you're not dreaming.
yeah, it's like you're undermining I'm not going to say that this is blasphemy, but as a former Christian, but also just like as someone who's watching this movie and I know the story, it's like also I know storytelling. It's like this is weird to treat this really pivotal moment for this character, our main character, as like a bunch of put a bunch of jokes in it. It's like
like flippant.
Yeah. Yeah.
yes,
It
yeah,
felt parody.
Hmm.
yes,
And this is supposed to be like if we're like as I emphasized it in the research because this is supposed to be such a pivotal moment in the story of Christ and like the story of Christian redemption. Like this is where everything goes wrong for the big D downstairs, the devil, like this is where like redemption begins. So it's kind of like the fact that not only is it played for laughs, but she doesn't get to say "let it be" as the Beatles would say, like she
She
doesn't
doesn't
get to
consent.
she doesn't consent. And the fact that the catechism itself even used the word that her consent is critical. So the angel is
Yeah.
just like, just so you know, this is happening to you, and she does not get a say in it.
No, she
yeah.
says I think like no,
Yeah.
wait, where are you going? Like I have questions, and it's like yeah, you didn't. I was like, oh my gosh, no, they didn't have her agree to it.
Yeah.
It's very concerning. I've
Which
always
for a
wondered.
character who seemed to have bigger dreams than just marriage, I feel like giving her the chance to be like I'm scared, but I'm gonna say yes,
Hmm.
you know.
Well,
And
because the
also,
way, yeah. Oh, go ahead.
no,
Sorry.
go ahead, Katie. Go ahead.
The way they like you mentioned, like she's shown to be devout,
Yes.
but it
Mm.
comes. I like the way they depicted it though, because it doesn't come across as like holier than thou.
No.
Which I
Yes.
feel like when
Right.
when they depict a lot of like devout characters in movies, it's often that's how it is. Like they're sort of
Mm.
annoying about it, and she's just very genuine.
Yeah.
Like I actually really liked her in this movie, and I really liked like I thought she had really good face acting.
Yeah.
I feel bad I don't remember her name, but
Uh Fiona Palomo?
Yeah,
Fiona,
that sounds right.
yeah, she's yeah, I thought she was very good, but yeah, it's they don't have her consent to it. They sort of undermine it with the humor.
Yeah.
Like it makes sense for like the wise men to be comic relief. That tracks. It doesn't make sense
Yeah.
for Gabriel to be comic relief. I don't think.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and that's exactly what I was going to say, Katie, about like her being devout,
Mhm.
is that like that would be so key to have her be like, well, I thought I wanted more, but like, okay, maybe this is God's plan for me. And so like, yes, I will do this. Like this is what my more is supposed to be. It's not a love marriage. It's
Yeah.
not something becoming a teacher, right? Like as I have, qualms about that for whatever reasons, being me, is like for the story, for the character of Mary based on biblical
Mhm.
Mary, it's like that would be the choice to
Yeah.
use that, make it more accurate, but also it's like that is the way to make it, well, I mean, so she has a song where she consents. That is her like, I'm gonna
Hmm.
have this baby song that comes a little bit later.
Yeah.
And it comes at structurally the time when it's supposed to in the story,
Yeah.
right? So I actually, now that we're saying this, what if they were like together, like so much
Yeah.
closer instead of that happening on her journey to see Elizabeth? This was like, she's like coming to terms with what she was just told. And, what if Gabriel was also kind of like a duet, like he's answering her questions,
Yeah.
she has questions about her faith. That would be so interesting. See,
Yeah.
it's these things that I'm like, you're so
So
close to
close.
something
You're so close.
interesting.
Yeah, or almost like maybe this is not, I assume biblically, like the conception of Jesus happened like right away when she said yes, but like maybe you could have her be like, no, wait, and then there be a reprise later when she's going to
Yeah.
see Elizabeth and she's like, yes, I'll do this, and that's when she gets pregnant. Like obviously they don't
Right,
show that,
Yeah.
but like that somehow imply that that's what's happening. Like
right.
Or even like you do a small yes like where she says like, okay, yes,
Right.
version of the song, and then you get the longer song when she's like kind of digesting what it means.
Hmm.
And the idea
Yeah.
that as like a faithful person, she will say yes to God, even if she doesn't quite understand it.
Hmm.
But
Yes.
I like that, there's a lot of messed up things in belief, but I do like that her consent is so prized, and so it just felt like a shame that her consent was taken away.
Yeah. Oh, I have a question. I always wondered this, like as a kid. I guess I never really articulated it, but like, would it have been a sin to say no?
Mm.
Like, if he asked, like,
I guess
would it
because you're
have been?
saying no to God's plan for you.
I guess, but like, I don't know. Like, it wait, maybe. I don't know. I remember always thinking this is gonna, and this is another thing I'm like,
Yeah.
I'm afraid to say this, but like, what if there was another girl who was also just as worthy and God was like, hey, and she was like, oh, no, thank you. So he's like, okay.
Yeah. Mary.
Yeah.
That sounds bad. But I'm like, would it have been wrong to say no? Like, if the consent is what's so prized, would it be sinful? Like, would you go to hell for that?
I mean, I think
Like if you were just
There.
scared.
there's my human reaction is that like no, maybe it's normal to have some hesitation or
Yeah.
lack of faith. Like is that necessarily is lack
But
of
is it,
virtue always a sin or lack of like immediate faith? I don't know, but I think the doctrine based on the whole like New Eve thing is that it would be showing doubt and disobedience
yeah.
to say no. And so yeah, that's
Yeah.
kind
And
of there's like what I feel and then what like I could see
Yeah.
doctrinally the argument being.
Yeah.
and then there's also the time travel thing that you mentioned earlier that it's like, well, if everything has already been decided,
Yeah.
so then she wouldn't have actually had a choice.
Does free will exist?
Right. It's getting
Yeah.
into that. It's like, okay, so like if we did take the merits from Jesus, put them on a Mary,
Yeah.
and blah, blah, blah,
Yeah. You were
it's
born for
like,
that.
yes, it's like you wouldn't even have the option to say no.
Yeah.
Like I already know as God or as Gabriel, God
Yeah.
told me we're close, we're like this,
Yeah.
is like I know that you're going to say yes. Like it to go back to time
Mhm.
traveler's wife, is that like,
Yeah.
did she even have a choice to say yes or no? Because they already knew they were getting married because that's how the time travel worked in that
Yeah.
movie. So
Yeah. I mean, I guess like I growing
confusing.
up always interpreted that even if she was like more predisposed to say yes because she didn't have sin, that
Right.
she had free will, so she could say no. And I felt like dramatically, I liked the idea that maybe God has a plan, but it's not guaranteed to work out,
Hmm.
you know.
Yeah.
But yeah,
Interesting.
in this movie, there's also an interesting interpretation of the phrase like "be not afraid." He says like, "You are the mother of God," like the mother of God. He doesn't say that phrase, but he say like, "You are the mother to be the mother of the Messiah." Like you cower before no one.
Mhm. Yes. And that comes up later.
Later.
And I
Yeah,
actually thought
Yeah.
that was a great use of
yeah,
that. It's about courage. Yeah.
yeah.
Mhm.
Uh,
And it's also kind of like, you're a bad bitch. Like, come
you're a bad
on.
bitch. They can't kill you. Yeah.
Exactly. Literally, they can't take you away.
Yeah. No, it's not your time yet. And I
Uh,
think too, by that point in the movie, she has her baby, so
Right.
that's another
yeah,
reason to have courage of like, okay,
yeah.
now I'm
I,
defending this baby, right? Like,
yeah, yeah, yeah.
yeah.
So
So
her family, of course, doesn't believe her. And they're saying, like, what a crazy scheme to get out of getting married. And she's like, have I ever lied?
A- And that's why I thought her family not believing her was like, I understand why they picked it dramatically for the movie,
Yeah.
but I think realistically, like, that would not make sense. Like,
mm,
she has been the most devout of the daughters,
Yeah.
and it's just like, I, I don't know. It just
yeah, it
doesn't
doesn't
feel
track.
right.
Well, her mom kind of
And
believes
it's,
her.
but it's also pointless because it doesn't go anywhere because she doesn't ever see her family ever
No.
again. So it's
Yeah.
like, it would make more sense if like her family believed her, but they were like, okay, well, how are we going to
Yeah.
explain this to people? Like, there's no point in taking away her support from her family because it's really dramatically, it's important that his family and
Hmm.
that Joseph, they don't have faith in this
Yeah.
because they see this as a transaction, right, for
Right.
marriage.
I think, though, like the concept of, okay, my daughter's pregnant by angel message is just hard for anyone to grasp. So I
Right.
think I liked that they weren't like, oh, you're a slut.
Right.
Like they were like, you're making this up to get out of the marriage. Like I felt like they were having a realistic reaction for those characters and how
Yeah.
they saw her. But she's like, you just gotta
But why
take,
would they see her that way? Because she is literally faithful.
yeah,
Yeah.
It's
It
it's like
doesn't seem like a thing that she would do.
yes, it feels like they're making up or like the dad is having this reaction just for the drama.
I mean, I just think like if someone's telling you they're having I almost did it, a virgin birth, a virgin conception, uh,
The Protestants are getting to you.
yeah, they would like be like it's just hard to grasp. So I think like when
You're
presented with
thinking about this
something,
realistically.
yes,
I'm thinking about this in terms of the characters that like I
yeah,
don't think they're realistic. And so I'm like, that's why I'm like, I don't think that logic is here. But
Well, I'm taking it back to Jesus of Nazareth, which is so totally divorced from this movie. It shouldn't even be the same subject matter. But in that one, she says to her mom, in that one, her dad is already dead,
hmm
and it's just the
mm,
mom and
yeah,
Anna. And she says to the mom, the first thing she says is, Elizabeth's pregnant. And so it's almost like the angel told her that as a sign
yeah,
of like, see, the impossible sort of already happened. And this is also a way you can prove to
hmm
your family that like the thing you're saying is
right.
real. And I don't think they quite played it that way, but she does say later, once Joseph doesn't believe her at first, but then the mom does, so she's supporting her through that. She's like, oh, he doesn't believe me, and she goes, but what I said about Elizabeth is true. So like,
yeah,
that was like that proof that the angel gave her, and then the proof that she gave her family
Right.
in that one, in that
yeah.
version.
But I
Yeah.
mean, I do feel like in the Bible it implies that the angel tells her that as proof.
As proof,
Yeah.
yes,
Yeah.
Yeah,
yes,
I feel like
yes.
that's like very textual.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
I mean, but in this, Mary's mom does kind of say like you studied the scriptures and like you know them well, and that's your father didn't just teach them to you because he didn't have a son. Like he knew that you had an aptitude for them.
yeah.
Mhm.
Even though he said that because he has to be loyal to the patriarchy.
Yeah,
Right.
Because
S- yeah, because this is year one or whatever,
4 BC about.
Yeah, so she's saying like, so her mom sort of believes her, but they're like, you got to go be with Elizabeth because she tells Joseph, and he's like, what? And his parents are like, no, get out. The marriage is off. She a hoe, like you can't sully our family name. And Joseph is immediately torn, but she looks back and is kind of like, Joseph, like, do you believe me? And he closes the door.
Yeah.
Devastating.
Yeah.
Diva down.
I said, whoever Jesus of Nazareth is, your mom's a
Yeah,
Sorry.
That was
I'm
so
amazing.
sorry, that's
good. Oh
horrible.
my, no, that was excellent. Oh my God.
So this
Uh,
is where she goes to Elizabeth and we get her big song, Mother to a Savior and a King. And I do love where she says, like, God, you want me to carry your child, but I need you to carry me. Like, I thought that was a good phrase where she's just like, I'm struggling. Like, I feel so alone. Um,
Yeah.
she has her Pride and Prejudice moment. She's standing on the edge of the cliff and the wind is
Yep.
blowing. It's very
yeah,
Keira
Yep.
Knightley 2005.
Yes,
yes.
Yeah.
absolutely.
And she ends up with her cousin Elizabeth, who is pregnant, and Zechariah, who is silent. They play it comedically well.
They
Um,
do, yeah.
yeah, and they don't overdo it. Like, that's the
No,
thing is, like, this, it is subtle at times.
there's a hint of like, I kind of like that he's not talking, right?
Yeah. Uh, and Elizabeth is kind of like, well, maybe like, what does Joseph think? And she's like, he's out of the picture. Meanwhile, the three kings are showing up to Herod. We get there's three gifts, three wise guys song.
You guys
Uh,
took years off of Scott's life. I think you owe him like restitution.
that
That
is a rough one. That's a rough
With the
number.
rough song.
it makes no, I mean, it makes sense,
In
but
that the three kings need a song where they say gold,
sure,
frankincense, and murder. Yeah.
sure. But it doesn't make sense tonally. Like it's such a, and also like
Why are they giving these to
his
Herod? Yeah.
hair, yeah, like the way they interact with Herod is also like weird. I don't know.
Yeah.
This whole section of the movie with Herod and the three wise guys is just,
Yeah.
it's a different movie. And it's also a movie I don't want to watch because it's not meeting the same intellectual level that the other half of the movie with Joseph and Mary is. Because like again, there's like a lot of interesting things they're playing with. This is all just hijinks over here.
Yeah, and
Uh,
it's giving like church play hijinks. I think they
Yeah.
thought it was giving Disney villain hijinks.
I think if this were a church play, I would be all in. Every
Oh
little
yeah.
ridiculous thing or community theater, I would
Yes.
love
I say that with
this.
a
Oh,
lot of movies that we watch here that I'm like, because
Yeah.
it's a movie, I have a certain standard. But if I was watching this it like live, I'd be like,
Yeah.
Go off
It
King
would,
literally
Herod.
yeah.
kings. Go off kings,
Yeah,
plural.
Kings. Yeah. Also, because Herod can't sleep because he's having dreams of gold dust and the lion is roaring at him. And he's like, Aslan is coming. He's like,
There's
a
probably
new
lead in his
king.
eyeliner or something. Like there's
Yeah.
something toxic in that makeup.
Yeah.
So he should stop wearing it.
What do we think of Antonio Banderas in this movie? Because I kind of like that he's going over the top, and yet I think he's almost playing it a little too serious so that it's not as
Oh,
funny as it could be. I don't know.
interesting.
Like
I
like some of the
wrote
withering looks he's giving, and it's
interesting.
it's the line between like evil, so evil that it's comedic, like Doctor Evil, but like it's a little too realistic, too scary. I don't know. I don't feel like he walked that. I like Antonio Banderas, and if it's
Yeah.
him
Yeah.
singing, I thought he was quite good, but something about it didn't work, and I don't know if it's him or just the way they wrote it.
You
Like I
know,
like him.
Or
I
the
think,
direction.
Yeah,
yeah,
exactly.
I think what it comes down to is that this can work occasionally. You'll have some iconic Disney villains, your Hades, your Maleficents, hardly interact with their heroes. But I think because he is can't be evil, but he has so little connection to Mary and what's going on, he's like trying to
Yes.
find her, that I think, and that'd be a really hard, you'd have to do some weird shoehorning to get find ways for them to interact. But I think it like we don't have the his camp grounding us in with like the menace to the story
Mhm.
until like the end. So you just kind of see him glowering around.
He's static, like.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I think if he
Yeah.
was looking maybe for baby Jesus, or even just like instituting new taxes that are instantly making Mary's life harder or something,
Mhm.
Yeah.
like she's getting married because the initiative that women were going to be able to go to school is shut down by King Herod. I don't know. That would be, I don't know. That's not the answer, but like something where it's like he is much more like an active threat.
An actual threat.
Yes.
Yeah.
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 Yeah. That makes more sense.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I wrote that this character is giving Jack Sparrow, but like evil.
Hmm.
Because
Mhm.
he's like
So
kind of
Johnny Depp.
drunk
No.
sometimes. He's kind of drunk sometimes, especially when we first meet him.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's it's just like weirdly over the top. I think for me it's just like a tone thing where like and I think like even the son, this guy is sort of like
More grounded for sure. Except when he does
yeah.
that little breakdance number. Or like he
And
doesn't
they
do a breakdance, he just breaks it down.
he
Yeah.
breaks it down.
Yeah.
And King Herod, he like kind of breaks the fourth wall without looking into the camera. He's like, "This is stupid," basically. And I'm like,
Yeah.
"Yeah, you're right." And then I'm like, "Wait a second, you're talking to me, kind of," because it's like it's the musical recognizing that it's a musical, and
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
don't like that. Perhaps
This
in
is not the
general,
movie for that,
but
Yeah.
especially.
specifically not this movie.
You guys
It's
didn't
just
like that in Glee either. What was it called? Like diegetic? Like it's like,
Yeah.
yes,
yeah,
yeah.
When was it
It's
diegetic? When was it not? Who knows?
who
hard to tell.
knows? Yeah. So yeah, I feel like this it's such a tone issue for me that I'm like whatever happens over here, I'm like, whatever. And once we get back to like the real stuff, I'm like, oh, okay, this is actually interesting.
Yeah. It just feels like we're buying time. Um, Joseph, he's also having dreams and gold dust. Which is I love this. We're getting the song The Greatest Deception. I love the idea of turning what is like a static info dump from an angel into like an active dream.
Yeah.
And he is arguing with his two sides of himself, his good and his evil side. He's self-duetting.
Hmm.
It's red,
Uh,
it's black, it's white.
yeah.
Yep.
There's martial arts involved, sort of.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yep. Uh-huh.
And he's like, oh, you can't believe her. He's like, part of me believes her, part of me loves her.
Ooh.
Mm.
And it's when like there's a crowd and soldiers and like people threatening to stone her that he's like, no, don't judge her. Like I love that the idea of people turning against her is what makes him be like, no, I
Mhm.
believe her.
Yeah.
He just loves her. And I think, bless you, Hannah.
Thank
I
you.
do think you need, again, we're Milanators.
Yeah.
I don't know if ever like you couldn't have just cast anyone to really do this. Like this particular number, it barely works, and it barely works because
Yes.
he's good.
He's, yes, 100%. It is so weird.
Uh-huh.
I think there's something interesting about the idea, like you said, but the number does not work without him. He just happens to do it well.
Is it him singing? Do we know that?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
It is. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, and it's, yeah, it is like sort of like martial artsy. Um, yeah, he's literally the two sides of himself are fighting. Um, and it's um his accepting the challenge, accepting the journey part
Mm-hmm.
of the movie. So we had Mary's and then we had his.
Yeah.
So but we just see that like he's like, okay, no, I'm gonna
Go
go
to
to
her and
her,
believe
right?
her
Yeah. Yeah.
against his parents' wishes.
But
Yeah.
his parents are out of the picture. His parents moved back to Bethlehem for reasons
Mm-hmm.
they don't explain.
They're like, yeah, because like if he's not betrothed anymore, would they be like, all right, let's go back to Bethlehem, you know?
Maybe they have more jobs for inventors in Nazareth.
Right. And he's
Um,
like, I want to stay. Yeah.
um, yeah, I do. Yeah, I do love. This is where I'm like, this movie is kind of good at times, you know?
Yep.
And so it's like there is some interesting stuff. Like it could be a lot blander or like less interesting. As a lot, oftentimes I find the problem with religious movies is like because they want everyone to be so good, like the lack of drama.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Um, but so Joseph, he's off to find her. Herod's men are searching the countryside. The wise guys, they know where Jesus is going to go, but they slip away in secret while Antipater is taking his people around looking, searching for homes. His haircut is slightly historically accurate, and I do hate it.
He's
Um,
wearing that weird ear spike earbud thing, and
yeah,
also the fact that it accentuates his strange British ears.
yeah.
Sorry. There's just
Uh,
something going on over there. I don't know. Prince
and
Charles has them. You know what I'm talking about.
yes.
Something in the water. Something in the water.
So Joseph gets to Elizabeth's house shortly before the soldiers and helps Mary hide. They end up hiding in the hay. They're going for a roll in the hay. Wah, wah, wah. No.
And this is the first place we see the men go is literally right to Elizabeth. So it's like
Yeah.
when that first happened, I was like, whoa, do they have intel or something? But the intel is that they're like, we heard,
York's pregnant
but
unusually
you're old. Yeah.
and married.
Yeah.
Yeah. And it is great tension in this scene.
Hmm.
Yeah, whoever the actress is, she looks familiar too. I should have looked her up, but yeah,
The
whoever
one
the
who plays
actress.
Elizabeth.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. She is
Yeah.
really good.
She has good
She's,
interactions with Mary and then a good interaction with the Herod
Mhm.
Antipas.
yeah.
Antipater.
Yeah, because he's
This
just
guy.
this guy, yeah, bad haircut guy, and he's like, "Oh, here's a coin," and he throws it at the dirt, like, and she has to say thank you, like this kind of like you see the class, see like all these differences, and Joseph being like, "I had a dream that these soldiers were after you, and I'm trying to get you out." Um, and they search the property, they can't find anything. This is like Herod as an antagonist is one of the most like very high fantasy elements of Journey to Bethlehem and of the Bible story. It gives very ring race searching. It
Yeah.
gives like Maleficent and her like searching 16 years for a baby, but like that the villain is searching the land. Uh,
Hmm.
Another villain that has beef with a baby, which is bad
fa
luck.
famously bad luck. Famously thing villains love doing. They're like, I'm gonna have beef with a baby and a teenage girl.
That's the difference between a bad person and a villain.
Yeah.
Yeah. They have
Uh,
beef with a baby and a teenage girl, Mary and Jesus.
yeah.
Hmm.
Uh, so Joseph is like, I want to help you. I want to be in this with you. She's like, I don't know if I can love you, but she's like, I
Yeah.
can't do this alone. So she says, will you marry me? And so we get
Hashtag feminism.
hashtag feminism, which people, that's what people have said, that this is super feminist. And I'm like, God
Is it though?
forbid, the woman who
Literally, God
God,
forbid.
yeah, God, that the woman who is bearing God's son has some control over like who she's gonna marry.
Yeah, no
In a
agency for
movie,
Mary, Mother of God. None.
in a
Yeah,
literal musical
movie.
movie
Yeah,
about the story.
yeah. Uh, so
She's the highest woman in religion, but we can't let her actually have any power.
We can't
yeah,
let her know that.
No,
yeah.
no.
Well,
What would
I
women do
think
if they had power? Ooh.
the fear that some of these Christian reviewers had is that their daughters would see that. That's
Hmm.
the thing.
Don't get
That's the thought.
ideas.
Don't get ideas that you can be holy and have agency. So they get the can we become we or can we become we? Can we become we? It's a cute duet. This went the greatest deception and this song were the ones that went viral on TikTok.
Mm, okay.
Funny. The one with all the
Um,
fireflies. Lightning
yeah,
bugs, excuse me.
lightning bugs. Yeah,
I'm
the
from Ohio. I gotta call them lightning bugs.
Yeah.
very like again, very like kind of Disney romance. Like we're waltzing in the woods with lightning bugs. They're like, we got a priest to marry us, Zechariah.
Hmm.
Um, very cute. And I like the idea that I love Joseph as wife guy simp. Complimentary. He's like, I
Yeah.
love you. And she's like, maybe I could learn to love you too.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Yeah. Fiddler on the Roof. 25 years I've cooked with you. Like, what is love? Baby, don't hurt me.
Love is an action. Love is a verb, right?
Yeah.
It's not.
Hmm.
Uh, so they're married and they're fleeing to Bethlehem for the census. There was announced that it was a census. Because I think guards come by again and they're like, he's like, "Oh, I'm married." Like this is so like, "Oh, you can't be the one because you're
Yeah,
married."
because yeah, he's like, you're from Bethlehem, so you have to go back to Bethlehem. But she's from Nazareth. She's from here. Or no. Yes.
Yeah.
And he's like, why can't we just be counted here? He's like, because you're the man. So you
Yeah.
guys got to go back to your
Yeah.
hometown. Who cares if you have to take this woman who's
Hmm.
also multiple months pregnant? And he's like, my wife literally can't make this. He's like, I don't care.
Yeah. And
Yeah.
they're also the fact that one of the reasons she wanted to get married is because by having him as a husband, she's no longer on the unwed mother list.
Right.
Yes. And so it'd be harder for them to find her. Yeah.
Yeah. So
Again, not in the Bible,
I was
really.
just gonna say,
The census was a thing before Mary got pregnant. So, but I can
yeah.
yeah,
see why they did that for the movie, but it was bugging me.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
It did feel strangely, I know this movie was a Biden era film, but it did feel very interesting to have the fear they had at like the government checkpoint with like the soldiers letting people in who controlling who could enter Bethlehem and
Mhm.
like that they were gonna find her and so they have to like sneak off. Um yeah,
Or,
just
I mean, maybe in general that regardless of it being a Biden era thing, it's that like immigrants, people
yeah,
who are migrating anywhere, it's like that's a stressful experience, and
yeah,
maybe it's just like that all-time realness
yeah.
that just never goes away. That
All
like,
time low. Uh
I think
and
at this point too, she's wearing the blue veil.
yeah.
So you're starting to get like depictions of Mary in art.
Yeah,
yes,
she's
So
wearing she's in the fit, guys, like
yeah, we're like,
time.
let's go.
The stars are literally aligning. Because the Magi are disguised as shepherds looking out
Hmm.
for the star. And
Got it.
so they're sneaking in. Uh, Fig can't make it in. I was devastated. Mary throws a rock to distract them, like she's Link in Legend of Zelda.
Yes.
And they sneak in, and we get this very intense sequence in the city as they're searching for a room. Uh, and the soldiers are almost on her. And Joseph is like going to all these houses. And the one who ends up stopping the soldiers and saving her is Fig the
Big.
donkey.
Hmm.
Mm.
Classic animal sidekick.
Yep.
Oh, and at some point, Auntie Potter got this song like "Am I My Father?"
And I'm
And
like, I don't care. Can
yeah,
we can we
Yeah.
can we get back to what really matters?
yeah,
Also, like you are the one who kills Jesus 33 years from now, so
Yes.
like
That's the
yeah.
other thing is that like this movie is trying to make Herod's
Son.
Herod well, he's obviously trying to make Herod like this big bad villain, but we don't see the big bad thing he does.
Yeah.
And then this guy, you're trying to give him like a moral backbone, and it's
Mhm.
like he's not good. So
no.
it's
He
like
ends up like
again, I don't
marrying his brother's wife and sorry, go ahead.
Yeah.
yeah, I don't want to necessarily again like call it the word blasphemy, but like it does again, and if we can't find any information about like the connection to Christianity and this
Mhm.
story that the filmmakers have, I kind of have to still call out like this is kind of blasphemous as like from a Christian perspective, but in general, just like from an accuracy perspective in the way that it a lot of people know this story, especially a lot of people
Yeah.
who are going to watch the movie. And so it's like they're going to be like, "What do you mean he's a good guy? He's the one who who does who kills Jesus." So it's like, why would you do that? Why would you waste your dramatic time and
I
energy
mean,
on that?
yeah, I
Yeah.
didn't even think of that because hardly think of. I feel like of all the people involved in killing Jesus, King Herod was like the least.
That's true.
Is
He
more
didn't
Pilate.
initiate. Yeah.
Yeah, more
Or
Pilate,
even
and then the
Pilate didn't really want to. The Jews were like, do it. And he's
Yes.
like, no.
yeah.
They said, come on, do it. And he said, okay, fine. But I'm
But it's
washing
like
my hands in front of everybody.
yeah, but like it's these are figures who are just not good in the story of Jesus. And so it's like, why are you wasting time making
You
him
know,
more
you
nuanced?
know why? Because they cast the singer of a Christian group.
Oh.
I bet that song was added later.
Oh. Well, I have an idea. What if he's not Herod's son? What if he's like the captain of the guard that's
Yeah.
I
conflicted? Like,
actually
have it be somebody else.
most of the movie was completely overlooking the "you're my dad" stuff, which was very obvious and on the nose. And it wasn't until literally like I think the last scene that he's in where like he like meets up with
Mm.
he finds baby Jesus. And I'm like, oh, that's like his literal son. I
Yeah.
don't know why it didn't like stick in my brain. So yeah.
Yeah, it's also because Herod is a big bad, but we also do the slaughter of the innocents doesn't happen in this story, which
Yes,
I
that's what I'm
guess,
saying. It's like
family friendly movie, but we
Yeah,
don't
but
see
it's
his
like,
evil thing.
yeah.
yeah, it's just like, and also I think by like giving him dreams, I, for me, I actually, and I didn't know
Mhm.
why until just now, but it was giving me Jesus or God
Pontius Pilate,
hardened his heart,
Pharaoh's
like
heart.
like
Oh,
Pharaoh. And so, and then it made me think, is this movie trying to do that with him? That like he's not fully in
mm,
control of what he's doing. He's just kind of playing a part
yeah.
because
Mm,
God demanded it, right? It's like,
yeah.
so
That's,
I don't know.
yeah, I guess, yeah, you're just kind of like, what is there's just yeah there is a lot of emphasis and then we don't get the massacre of the innocents which I get but also like
Yeah.
Little Drummer Boy scarred me as a kid. Prince of Egypt was scary, like yeah, I think kids can handle that, but it is live action so I could see why that would be even
Yeah. Well, because also they want to end it, it seems like on a good note, but it's like there's
yeah
a reason they're fleeing
yeah
and they don't
Yeah.
show or even mention the reason. Because, like,
Yeah.
Herod the Great says, well, just kill all the babies then. And the other one's like, we can't do that. It's like, I'm sure he wouldn't have given a shit about, like, all these
yeah
poor Jewish babies. I mean, I guess they're Jewish too. That always
Yeah.
no not
confused me. They're
really.
not?
I
I always thought they were.
I know
Like,
Herod helped rebuild the temple, but I do not believe he was Jewish. Like
no.
that's why in the Bible he goes to the priests and the Sadducees or the scribes
Oh, because he
because
wouldn't
he's
have known.
like, yeah, he's like, let me have cultural consultants, from Jewish culture.
But he wasn't Roman, was he? I thought he was like the royal family of the area or something like that. Like,
Yeah, but he wasn't ethnically. There are a lot of different ethnicities
got it.
around.
Okay.
From again, this is going off the top of my head, but from my understanding, it's like he was relatively tolerant and helpful to Jewish people, but he was not Jewish himself.
Okay, that makes more sense, I guess.
Um,
Huh. Okay.
So yeah, we get the very scary scene. Donkey saves her. They flee to a barn. Um, and yeah, just that whole sequence felt very real and visceral. So I like how they built up to this climax. She gives birth, and we get this like Silent Night, Holy Night remix
Hmm.
with the angel. Reference to Hannah's favorite night song and my favorite Christmas night song. Um, I
Yeah.
sang it in It's a Wonderful Life. You almost sang it in church, and they cut it, and now you're an atheist.
Yep.
My favorite fake story, real story, fake conclusion that
Yep.
I make. Yeah, I did like the music in the birth scene.
Same.
Uh,
I felt emotional. I think
yeah,
also like I think the sequence leading up to it helped with that
yeah,
because it is sort of the emotional conclusion of their journey.
Hmm.
yeah. I
I
like
just
that.
wish that there was less of whatever this was.
Oh yeah, this guy, and then there's okay. So the sheep, the lamb, leads the magi in there.
Hmm.
I am forever pissed that the shepherds should be there because I think I think it's very telling to the theological story they're trying to tell in the Bible that the angels speak to the poor people directly, and then
Mm,
the magi can ascertain through the stars, but it is the shepherds, like the lowly out like field workers who are given the message from above. And
mm,
I think I don't like the idea that it's the rich people who get God's direct message.
right.
I think that's very narratively important that it was like poor shepherds in their fields, like who come to see him first.
Yeah, and that's sort of like wealth gospel the
Yeah,
right. It's
Prosperity
like
gospel, yeah.
yeah, prosperity gospel that right that like God looks um kindly on the rich and it's like
yeah,
that's what you think because you're rich.
Yeah.
yeah,
That's also like the exact opposite is stated multiple times.
Yes.
yeah. I mean, Mary said that earlier
Yeah.
in the
Yeah.
Yeah.
Magnificat. Yeah,
Yeah.
So, I mean, I think my interpretation that I just gave is a little potentially a little bit reading too much into their choice of making the Magi get the direct
yeah.
message.
I think they were just
But
trying to streamline things.
yes,
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
but but in my lens, I'm like,
Mhm.
that's a little interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Uh, So they show up, they're led by the lamb into the city. We get a big flash of light that Mary's family also sees, and we get
Yeah.
snow. Um,
Famously happens in this region of the world.
yeah,
I think in the mountains it does, but I don't know enough
Right.
geographically about Bethlehem to say
I
whether or
don't,
not it's like
yeah.
Yeah, it's like if there's mountains, sure, because
yeah,
it's higher up.
Hmm.
right.
I
No,
don't think that happens.
I guess they're like it's
Let me
magical
Google it.
snow.
Right,
It's
magical
But
snow.
Christmas. We gotta have snow.
yeah. And so we get this Silent Night, Holy Night mashup, and we have Mary do a reprise of Mother to a Savior and a King, where she's like, "Now I understand." And we get the wise men reprising the "Thine is the kingdom, the power, the glory."
I like
I
that.
have to read this. I Googled it. This is the AI overview,
Oh
but
no.
it's funny.
Oh no.
Yes, it does snow in Bethlehem because I Googled, does it snow in Bethlehem? Yes, it does snow in Bethlehem, but it depends on which Bethlehem you mean. And I went, good point. Bethlehem, PA gets regular snow.
Yeah, that's definitely what I meant.
And then it said, well, Bethlehem, West Bank, and the Holy Land gets it occasionally, a few times a decade, and mainly in the cooler, rainy winters. So yeah, I guess it
Okay.
could happen.
Could happen.
So we
I
learned.
thought
I
there's two
loved that.
Bethlehems in the Bible, like Bethlehem Ephratah and Bethlehem. I forget
Oh
the other.
yeah.
So I thought that's what you were gonna say, and then you said Bethlehem,
Pennsylvania.
Bethlehem,
Pennsylvania.
Pennsylvania. That's why I was laughing. I was like, you know what? Honestly, fair distinction to make AI because it knows I'm in Ohio right now. And it's like, is she talking about Bethlehem, Pennsylvania? She could be. Maybe she's traveling there. I'm not.
Um, my nemesis AI.
My journey to Bethlehem.
Yeah. Slouching towards Bethlehem. My it's a James Joyce quote that I only know from Charlie Brown.
Marching towards Bethlehem, waiting to be born, or something like that. I don't.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I know because Marcy says it's a peppermint patty.
Oh, she does. I'll
Yeah.
watch that again. That's funny.
In It's Christmas Time Again, Charlie Brown, which is my favorite Charlie Brown Christmas
Oh,
special.
okay. Never seen
Oh,
that one.
Yeah. Um, yeah,
I'm
they're
not
in
a
a
true fan.
Yeah, they do a Christmas pageant. It's great. So Auntie Potter shows up and is like, "I'm here to kill this baby,"
He has a
and
change of heart.
he has a change of heart. But it's also like he's hesitating, and we get that, you're the mother of God. You don't cower before anyone. And she stands up and she's like, "Yes, this is a child. Like, look upon him." And you get this like you see her as someone who studied the scriptures and has this like faith and conviction, and her like standing up for it and being like, I'm not afraid. Like the message that Christ brings can touch your heart. And I said, I love this journey for her. Like, I love this character journey. This is a great way a character whose journey is giving birth, like a way to give them a moment where like she overcomes her obstacle, like gives her a satisfying conclusion and stands up to an antagonist, and she causes a change, and he's like, okay, leave. I can't protect you forever, but get out.
Yeah.
So the wise men give them their gifts the next day, and they're on their way to Egypt with Fig, and she kisses Joseph
It is a
because
good kiss.
the good kiss.
It's like it was. I was kind of like, oh,
Oh,
This is what the Christians were complaining about.
yeah.
That's what they were really complaining
Because
about.
at the wedding, I think he goes to kiss her, and she's like, cheek.
Yes. And I
Yeah,
was like, that's so cute
yeah. And now she's
because
like,
it's
I'm
it's like
ready.
I'm accepting your like support and love, but I'm not there yet.
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, I
I
love that.
I liked the more passionate kiss toward the end. I was like, see, Catholics, you're wrong. They had other kids.
Kids.
Yeah, look at the passion between them. Ooh.
Yeah. Uh, and so we also get that they're telling the story to a young Jesus at the
Yes,
end.
and he's a cute baby. And he's reading the Hebrew and then it turns into English the end. And I
That
laughed
was so corny.
so hard.
I love that, honestly. That's so funny.
And they said, we acknowledge that we changed the story, but we hope we kept the spirit.
You didn't, but it's
Is that
okay.
is that okay? Is that the exact verbatim language that they used?
No, but something like that. Like, we hope we kept this as spirit of the truth.
So it's okay, because Katie and I talked about this yesterday on our
Yes,
call.
yes,
Was like at the beginning, right? At the beginning of Prince of Egypt,
yes.
that's when they have this. They're like, this is not
Hmm.
fully accurate to the biblical story, and we do this in the intention of honoring the people that this story is about and the
Yeah.
people who that this story means so much to them. And
Yeah.
we did take creative liberties, right? But they have that right up front, and it's very much like we are dedicating this to the people.
When Prince of Egypt says that, I believe it.
Yes.
Because it's true. Like there's funny
Yeah.
moments, but it's never tongue in cheek. It's never like poking fun at the actual. Like it's mostly serious, you
Because
know?
Yeah.
because to go back to when Mary gets visited by Gabriel, that is Moses in the cave with
Yeah.
the fire and the
Burning
message from
bush.
God.
Burning bush. And I
Very
cry every
different
time.
tonally scene. Yeah.
It doesn't, they don't make a
Beautiful.
joke. It is
It
that's it's a similar moment in terms of like pivotal nature for that, I'm going to say character, for
Mhm.
that character, and they treat it with the reverence that it deserves, not even just because of its biblical nature, but because that is pivotal to the character. But with this movie, they don't treat it with such reverence or
Mm,
really any reverence.
No.
mm-mm.
And of course they completely change her consent, right? But
Yeah.
from what I remember, Prince of Egypt, that scene is like not necessarily
Verbatim.
verbatim, but it's like
Almost. Yeah.
really close. Um, it's just like I do have a hard time believing that this movie was made with those similar intentions. I believe that the Prince of Egypt was. So, and that's not to say that like they didn't, but I do have a hard time believing that.
Yeah. Or maybe that sentiment always won out in the writer's room.
Or the sentiment, they did want to do that, but they failed. They did not
Yeah.
execute on it. Let me
Yeah.
say that, not failed. They did not execute it on it consistently.
Yeah.
Because I think they paid really interesting homage to the relationship between Mary and Joseph that doesn't
Yeah.
really get that kind of attention in the Bible. And I think
Yeah.
that's really interesting.
Yeah, and Mary's faith, like her
And Mary,
personal faith.
yeah,
Yeah.
I think that's also super interesting, and it does a little bit of that, but that really pivotal moment that
Mhm.
not I don't want to say it upsets me, but it kind of annoys me at least. So I'm like,
Yeah.
that feels like an oversight.
Yeah.
Or a fundamental misunderstanding of the kind of movie you're trying to make.
Yes.
It feels
Yeah.
Yeah.
borderline like a lot of like Cinderella fairy godmother scenes
Mm.
in a lot of movies.
Mm.
And even some of those are more serious.
Hmm.
Right.
You
Yeah.
know,
Yeah.
yeah. So with do we root for our protagonist? Do we root for this Mary? Uh
Yeah.
I
I
This
do.
mean,
Mary, yeah.
Yeah. Like I think I get what she wants. I get what she's going through. Good heart. She's trying to get through day by day. And isn't that all of us?
yeah. I also think that um, like her not getting her dream, I don't feel like, oh, she really wanted to be a teacher. Like it wasn't so much that she wanted to be a teacher, like it kind of felt more that like she wanted to be fulfilled by her role. She
Yes.
wasn't going to be fulfilled by just being a wife.
Yeah.
Right.
And that's how I interpret it. And so like her journey, I think that tracks that
Yeah.
she is fulfilled by being the mother of the Savior.
And you see how even if, he's God's son, like she will be
Rolls his eyes.
impacting, she'll be seen as impact like raising him and like that whole like you cower before no one, like that Jesus
Yes.
gets his bravery from her, that like
Yeah.
his willingness to stand up for what's right. Uh
And they're teaching him, I think the implication in the end is that she's helping to teach him the scripture.
yeah.
I guess
Yes.
maybe the idea is that Jesus as a child already knows the scripture, but like he still would have had to have been instructed in it.
Yeah. And that's a
Right.
common motif in art,
Yeah.
Yeah,
them teaching him.
yeah,
Yeah.
teaching him,
And
yeah.
so she did become a teacher, but she became the teacher of the Messiah, you know? So
Yeah.
it's like, I don't feel like her dreams were destroyed in any
Yeah.
way. And I think that would be a really easy way to take this. It's very much that, like, she misinterpreted what she wanted,
Yeah.
or she thought she wanted it
It's
in
want
one
versus
aspect.
need. Yeah.
Well, I guess want versus need, but also
Want or like fully want. Like she wanted it in the way she could understand, but there's an even deeper.
she couldn't understand that. Yeah. So I
Yeah.
guess misunderstanding maybe gets like it's a negative connotation, but yeah, like
Yeah.
she feels strongly towards scripture and teaching
Yeah.
and being fulfilled by that. It's like, well, the ultimate fulfillment for someone like that, and she gets that, what would be a
Yeah.
privilege to do that for the Messiah. It's like I think that tracks really well in the way that they've done it in this movie.
And the fact that I mean, it's a very religious concept that you can get what you want in a much more full way by going along with God's plan.
Mhm.
Right,
Yeah.
exactly. And again, like I don't think there's anything wrong with that, especially in
Mhm.
terms of this story, because that makes sense for Mary.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
like I feel fulfilled by her journey, and I think I root for her every step of the way because I think it tracks.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And I do think we ship her and Joseph in this version. As a
absolutely.
lifetime not Mary and Joseph shipper,
Wow.
Milo
Really?
Manheim can help me ship them. So,
Well, there
yeah.
you go.
And
But
that's the power
yeah.
of zombies, baby.
Yeah, I just think that he is, I find him very charming, but I also find him
Charming with depth.
charming. Yes, I find him very like when he says that like and also he's very, maybe it's just because he's a man open with his
Mhm.
feelings, and I'm like,
Yeah.
it's, but he's very much like, I'm conflicted by this, and he's honest about that, but he's like, but I'm willing to work on it, like I think that like he plays that very well. The actor
Yeah.
plays that very well. So yeah, I think, and again, I really like the concept of exploring their relationship, you
Yeah.
know? And also, again, I think we talked about it before that like the idea of arranged marriage, it can be a scary prospect in general. And I think that especially in the Western world, in America, any
Mhm.
stories that involve anything about an arranged marriage is like, ooh, negative, negative.
Yeah.
But there have been a lot of people who went through arranged marriages who were like, actually, it worked out really well for me.
Yeah.
And like their love story is very different than how we depict it. And so I think not necessarily that this movie was intending to do that, but I think there is a version of it that they're playing with that it's like it's about coming to love that person even if you don't
Mhm.
start that way,
Mhm.
and I think that provide some validity to those kinds of relationships. So, and I thought it, I personally thought that it was really good. It was really interesting.
Yeah, and I think our antagonists are our weaker point. I think they're a little camp and a little cringe and just not as interesting as like when they're fleeing the soldiers, I feel tension, but like I'm not really I
I
don't get true fear from Herod.
I think, and that's because this was what, a PG movie.
Yeah.
I think if they had been more willing to do it more PG-13, more serious, even as a musical, that's very
Yeah.
possible, right? If they had done that instead of letting them go camp, it probably would have tracked much better. We would have been able to feel more of that fear. And I think Prince of Egypt, like plays
Does
with like
that.
that
Yeah. It's
sequence of
PG, right?
it's
Yeah.
PG, and they have a
Yeah.
sequence of Pharaoh killing babies.
Yeah.
It's
In the
an
hieroglyphs.
it's an animated sequence within the
Yes.
animated sequence, kind of,
Yeah. It's
but
Yeah.
it's
brilliant.
a scary and violent thing
Yeah.
that
I mean, but
is a
even his mother, Moses' mother fleeing is very scary. We
yes,
see
It
and that's
women
the
being pulled out of
opening.
their homes. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes, and so it's like there is a way to do this story that provides reverence and also makes these villains, they are the villains of the story, would make them actually effective. Because otherwise,
Mhm.
they're just like, meh.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I guess time for our big question. Was that your fantasy? Hannah, was that your Christmas fantasy?
This is not my Christmas fantasy for all the reasons I already explained. I think it's just that like there are so many good things that like if they just had, I don't know, taken things just a little more seriously throughout and made the tone more consistent, this movie could have been way closer to good than it was. I think it being too much middle ground was just really disappointing to me. I wanted it to either be really, really bad or because like now it's just like it's bad, but not really in a fun way.
Yeah.
So this is not my Christmas fantasy, and I would not want to live in this world. That doesn't seem fun to me.
Katie, was this your Christmas fantasy?
No, it was not my Christmas fantasy. And there's things I appreciated about it, definitely. I thought like, again, the way Mary was depicted, the actress who played her, very good, Fiona. Um,
Yeah.
and I thought that, yeah, the romance was actually very sweet. It annoyed me in the beginning, I'm not gonna lie,
Yeah.
Yeah.
up until the point where she finds out she's pregnant and then he decides like, oh no, I'm gonna help you. Like
Hmm.
that's when I
Yeah.
really started. I was like, oh, and I think maybe that was intentional. Like he's
Yeah.
a little annoying until like, oh no, like
Right.
I'm gonna help. I'm a good person. But yeah, no, not quite my fantasy. I'm glad I watched it. Had a good time. Yeah, definitely. But yeah, would I want to live in the, oh no, no, not no, no penicillin, no vaccines, no running water, no.
Yeah.
It's like not that, I mean, obviously people have lived that way for a long time. There's ways to remain hygienic and things, but I'm always just thinking about, I'm like, oh no,
Yeah.
plague. Absolutely not.
The
Literally the
plague.
plague.
Literally the
Yeah.
plague. Yeah.
Yeah. Uh, my answer to was that my fantasy was my Christmas fantasy was I guess
Mm,
because I was going this movie isn't good, but at the end of the day I enjoyed watching it. Like
yeah.
I liked some of the songs. Like I was listening to the songs, I worked on my notes, and there's some movies where I can't, and I'm like, I'm not listening to that soundtrack. This, yeah, I'll listen to it. I thought the acting was good, like the leads, Mary and Joseph. Maybe it needed a few more drafts, or I don't like a clearer vision, or not that weird Herod son character. But there were two things that pissed me off: the whole scene with Gabriel where she doesn't give her consent, and the fact that the shepherds were diminished
Mhm.
slash cut. Um, and would I want to live in this world? I want to be the donkey. I want to live my Christmas role. Hee haw, hee haw. I want to be Fig. I
Mhm.
want to be Mary's animal sidekick. Um, as Beyonce would say, that is my aspiration in life. Reference to the Pretty Hurts music video. Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. Yeah.
Hmm.
Katie,
Yes.
Thank you for coming on this Christmas marathon of an episode.
You're so welcome. I'm honored to be here. Truly. I had a good time.
I'm glad you had
Great.
a good time. Is there anything you'd like to plug?
Well, hopefully this isn't too serious, but I figure for people who are deconstructing from religion,
Yeah.
two people I'd recommend. One is Tia Levings, author of A Well-Trained Wife, My Escape from Christian Patriarchy. And I believe she has a second book coming out too about sort of healing from religious trauma. And then the other is Claire Heath McIver, who is an Australian ex-evangelical, and she has a podcast called Unchurchable. And she just has some really interesting interviews, I think a very open mind and some really good takes. And then if you're, well, whether or not you're deconstructing, I guess I'd recommend the 1977 Jesus of Nazareth miniseries, because in my head I kept comparing the two, and I'm like, Katie, you can't, it's not a comparison. But if you like British Shakespearean Jesus story versus sort of campy American one,
Whatever this was.
whatever this
Glee High
was,
School Musical
the High
versus
School
Christ.
Musical version, yeah. So I'll
Yeah.
plug all three of those things, as different as they are. So yeah.
Nice. Yeah, great recommends for sure. But yeah, if you whether you're deconstructing or not, you can follow us on Instagram or TikTok. We are at Not My Fantasy Pod. And if you are watching on YouTube, hi, hello, you can
Smash that like button like Mary
like we
didn't
would
smash before she got pregnant.
nice, nice.
But
The
Um,
opposite of how she...
consent. You should give consent before smashing the like button.
Yeah,
yes,
give consent.
Enthusiastic,
That's
yes.
if you learned
ask for
anything.
yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
angels
If,
asked for consent, and she said
and you
yes.
should too. Yeah.
Yeah, if Gabriel has to, and he's number 2 on the list,
Yeah.
you know, you got to.
Got to. But yeah, so in the comments,
What's your greatest religious trauma? Did Joseph and Mary sleep together? No.
these are all controversial questions.
I know.
Really
Um,
controversial.
Put who you played if you were in a nativity pageant. Who
yes,
you
were you in
played?
a
One.
nativity pageant? Even if you
Yes.
were like, I was shepherd number 3, even if you're like, I was the donkey, or, fellow
Winners were-
Marys,
Back end of
any
a
fellow
donkey.
Marys
Any
out
fellow
there?
Marys? Yeah.
Or the Josephs out there, we want to hear from you. Do
Yeah.
you think Joseph was a cuck? So, yeah, and be sure to like the video. Again, hit subscribe, and then also hit that bell notification so you get notified anytime we drop a new video episode.
Carol of the Bells, baby. And you can follow me.
Jingle bells.
Jingle bells. If you want to see me, if you want to see me jingle my bells, no, I don't have an OnlyFans.
I was like, whoa, is that the launch?
This
Okay.
is the launch Christmas episode.
Oh my gosh.
No, you can follow me on Instagram at Cullen Ever After. And below will also be the link to donate to Churla. So please, this holiday season, show some love and kindness to others in the world and people of goodwill. And with that, have a happy holiday season, whatever holiday you celebrate. And we'll see you in the new year.
Yes, we will. All right.
Bye,
Bye,
fantasy.
listeners.
Bye.